Yes, 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 yes.
You always talking shit, show.
What's good? What's good? What's good, yo? Yo, it's your boy Doc on.
Yerpity yerp. It's your boy Akeem Sincere.
And we back in the building with another session of the
Always
Always Talking Shit Show. Yes, sir.
What's good, my guy?
Lighter. When I get my lighter and light this blunt, I'll let you know.
You got mad lighters over here. Well, why you doing that, man? Want to send a shout out to all our sin folk out there, man. What's good? Thanks for tuning in. The interaction's been great, man. We loving the new vibes. Taking it to this platform, which is Facebook Live. Shout out to all our past endeavors. You know what I'm saying? We on the move. You can still check us at over on YouTube. Show love. Peace.
Well,
we out. No, just like
just quick, yeah. We only here for a couple minutes, y'all. We just want to make sure we saw you on a
Let
Monday.
y'all niggas know, man. We good.
So today I'm on Facebook, right?
Hold on, let me frame you. Let me throw the oop up for you.
Go ahead.
Get your shit off, Dre.
So I'm on Facebook, right? And I just moved from Reno, and some people
Shout out to the no.
was like, "Oh, everybody now has a podcast," and I knew it was kind of a shot at what we're doing over here, because now
with a subliminal.
Because now we're a lot more moving and shit.
Now they can see it.
And they can see it. So what pissed me off about that is the motherfucker saying this shit. Let's talk about like the culture that you're in doesn't even belong to you, and you didn't start it at all. You are. Don't get it wrong. Like, I'm glad you're part of the culture and everything, but stop thinking people are like biting off what you got going on, because me and this nigga been talking about this since what?
Does this person have a podcast or something?
Yeah.
Okay, well, nigga, just
talking about they started the lane in Reno doing this shit, or anybody from Reno doing it.
We're
not
Reno.
From Reno, but being that I just. Reno.
Okay. Well, at the end of the day, shout out to the no, because that's second home to the kid. I got love for the no, but I mean, just for anyone out there, just understand that there's 2,000 podcasts being launched every day. And just for shits, ain't nobody who gives a hell, but I'm gonna just throw it out there anyways. Talk our shit. Me and my guy, man, 4 episodes in, landed an exclusive deal. So the reason why a lot of people haven't seen some of our content is because you didn't have a subscription.
And we haven't put all those episodes
to pay for it.
Up.
So there was a different website, a different entity. Shout out to them. We fulfilled our contractual obligations, and now we're free agents, building our brand. You know what I mean? So our content is there. You know what I'm saying? We got loaded clips. We good. If you know this content game, you understand. You're not competing. You're not competing with the next man. You know what I'm saying? It's a numbers game. Get your numbers up.
And it's like we're not even like competing with y'all. And the people we compete with are these motherfuckers signing $30, $40, $50 million, $300 million podcast deals.
Shout out to Joe Rogan.
Like, we're not here even. Only reason I'm speaking on y'all is just because a lot of your shit that you're doing is borrowed. And I need you to realize that before you come out here thinking that you started some lane that you really didn't start, because that rap lane that you're in out there was started by my brother in a group called Element. So we can talk about other people jumping on shit, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not here to do that. Everybody should eat. It shouldn't be nobody pointing any fucking fingers about, oh, I started this lane. Oh, there's hella podcasts and shit. It's fucking COVID. Majority of you got a fucking podcast because you can't get out and do shit yourself and do shit and promote and shit like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not here taking shots at you, but I'm not going to allow you to take shots at me either. When some of you niggas jumped in the video creator lane after I moved. You know what I'm saying? So fingers can be pointed in all directions. Stop thinking that you created some shit that you didn't create a lane for where you're at. I know hella podcasts that have been going before the word podcast even became a fucking term. So, just saying, stop being fucking cocky and humble your fucking self. Yeah, there's a lot of fucking podcasts. We started this podcast back in September, And there's probably been 100,000 podcasts since then.
We launched in September.
Yeah, then there's probably been 100,000 podcasts since then, and that's
No.
that's lowballing
It's been more
by
it's,
millions, probably.
Yeah, that's just what it is. Hey, look, man. At the end of the day, every day another motherfucker learns how to walk, chew gum, and speak. If you're scared of competing, you won't be anything in this world, man. My grandfather told me that, grandson, to be a bum in this world, you will have competition. So you might as well compete to be great at something.
And I'm not on here saying
I ain't
that
worried about the no nigga starting a podcast.
me and this nigga started any type of lane. We jumped in a lane that we thought was fucking. We saw that was beneficial, regardless of who was in it.
Or that was a vibe.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so
that's the thing. If niggas is chasing clout, they're always, deaf to the clout chaser. There's always gonna be somebody out there chasing clout. It's always gonna be someone that feels like because they had a green sweater on first that they started a lane. But I mean, I don't even know who we talking about.
Hey, the crazy thing is, like, I didn't start the video lane in Reno. There was a company called Mogul Minded Videos. They're dope. They're fucking in LA now doing big shit for fucking famous artists and shit. And I wasn't the Imagebox wasn't the original dude video company in the last 10 years. You know what I'm saying?
It's very,
we
very
weren't
rare.
Scared.
It's something
We
the
weren't
original.
scared of any of that competition. There's an artist out there, shout out to Apprentice Richie Pinelli, who pays a lot of money to big production and shit, who are motherfuckers got cameras out I might not touch. Mm-hmm. And I'm not over here like, they've been in it longer than me, but they're not over here in competition with me. They don't give a fuck about me being down. They're up here. I know where they're at. I'm here. Right. They're not worried about me here. They're up here getting fucking BMW and all the car companies coming in and doing photo shoots and video shoots and all that shit with them.
They're getting to it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people who have time to be in competition or notice somebody bit them is somebody who's got too much time on their hands.
Or somebody that's just corny, bro. Like, at the end of the day, this shit all hip-hop, man. This shit is a part of a culture that you and I actually born into, built by our ancestry. So I make no apologies to nobody. Like, I don't, it is what it is. Akeem gonna do what the fuck he doing, man. Like, always talking shit show, always talking shit entertainment. Like, we here to stay. So I don't give a shit if it's a new podcast that's popping every other day, or it's a new network launching every other day. Hey, man, proof is in the pudding, man.
And I'll show love to all these podcasts. Y'all can be guests and come on live and chop it up with us, all that shit.
It's a
but
community, man. Stop
trying to be in competition with anybody. Because, yeah, I know there's fucking podcasts going on in Reno. Of course there is.
There's podcasts everywhere, bro. And it's not, this shit ain't new.
But, this is some Reno shit because I had a rap artist one time get at another rap artist like, oh, Dre bit my whole video and all this other shit, when I had shot my video like 9 months before this person had.
That ain't Reno shit. That's just lame shit. There's lame niggas on every crevice of the earth, just like there's a killer on every crevice of the earth.
But it's like, why would I bite you for locations in Reno when it's like there's barely any locations in Reno, and I did the location before you did? You're just thinking because this video came out after yours, because said artist always holds videos for months before they release, you assume that it was shot after seeing yours. Like, I'm not in competition with any videographer anywhere. I'm not. That's not going to help my pockets at all. If the next man decides to go fuck with A, B, and C, or doesn't fuck with A and goes with B and C, that's their money to spend with them. I don't control that. So I'm not going to be here in my feelings because they went with that person, because I'm not in competition with that person. I know what I bring to the table.
Right.
It shit just gets frustrating. Motherfuckers just need to calm down. Like,
and it's preference, man. If I'm an artist and I notice a certain videographer and they have a certain style,
right? Yeah, my style might not be.
For that project.
For that, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
For that piece, like, you know what I mean. It's child's play. You know what I'm saying? To think that way. That's all. That's all I'll say to that.
But I'm just over that whole people think they created something or they were the first to do it, because you really weren't.
And like I told you one day, man, like, some people are comfortable being big fish in a small pond.
That shit was fun. I can admit it. I love being a big fish in a small pond. Everybody knew who I was. I didn't pay for shit. I didn't get ID'd nowhere. I got in the building. I didn't wait in lines. That's fun.
Go get it somewhere else.
But it's way
That's all.
more fun when you can do it everywhere.
Yeah, go get it somewhere else.
When no matter
you
what
can't do
city
that-
you're in.
You can't do that unless you set your sails. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
No matter what city you're in, that you can go to any club and they know who you are.
One of the best things that ever happened to, like, from my perspective.
Hove ain't in competition with nobody else.
Facts. One of the best things that ever happened, like, from my personal perspective, was moving out west. Being an East Coast kid originally, like, I never really, from that moment on, like, I went through my bouts of homesickness and stuff like that. But once I got comfortable not being in New York City, like, I just realized, nigga, like, I'm where my family is. Like, home is where the heart is. That shit is really, that's a real statement. And I'm a be good anywhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's Sparks, nigga, Nevada, or nigga North Las Vegas.
LeBron James
Brownsville,
ain't in
Bed-Stuy,
competition
Brooklyn.
with nobody once he exits that court. Once he leaves that arena, he's in competition with nobody.
Shit, I'll go further than that. To truly be great, nigga, LeBron's
No,
not
he ain't-
competing
the
on
only
the
thing,
court.
only thing he's
competing
worried
against
about,
the game.
he's
nigga, in
competing
history. Yeah.
about winning that championship. That's what he's competing for. He ain't competing against no individual player in the league.
Yeah, he trying to
no,
be the
he's
best he
trying
can
to
be.
beat every team on his way to that chip.
Because really, fam, you can desire things that aren't realistic. Like, you can say, "Hey, I want to be like Kobe. I want to be like Jordan." But if you're five,
We all want to be
if
like
if,
Kobe.
if you 5'10",
5'6".
you know, well, I'm just saying, maybe little Isaiah Thomas is who you should be modeling yourself after.
That's
I remember
what I should
the
model
the
myself
best
after.
the best advice I ever got on a basketball court, man, is I'll never forget this shit, man. I'll never forget this. Like, George Karl told me, if you're not gonna be 6'6", you shouldn't even mimic Michael Jordan.
Yeah, no,
Like, nigga,
you
if you're not
can't
gonna be
mimic his
6'6"
game.
with a 40-inch vertical and hang in the air, nigga, and do all that shit. If you're not gonna have the size to play multiple positions and guard multiple
Like, I
positions,
could never.
why would you mimic and try to play like a Michael Jordan
I
or a
could
Kobe
never.
Bryant
I could never mimic.
and not like a Steph Curry or a Kyrie Irving?
I could
somebody
never.
Like that's your size.
Right, I could never mimic fucking Spud Webb. I can't dunk.
You can't dunk.
He's
but,
my height, and I couldn't.
But you can mimic
his
the way
play,
he
everything
played.
else, right? I couldn't
You know
dunk
what I'm saying?
no ball.
The way he played, like, so sometimes you just gotta pay attention to that.
I wish
like,
I could dunk a basketball, because when you're short and you can dunk, it's
It's
so
like trying to-
spectacular.
Oh, it always looks better.
Because you're that little body just rising on you.
Anybody 6'3" and under, 6'3" and under, your dunks are sexy.
Because
Because it looks, because you can
so
actually,
much air.
it looks like an athletic feat.
Right.
When you get about 6'4", 6'5" ish,
Yeah, you're just jumping.
it look like, and you got bounce.
Yeah.
It look like you just throwing this shit in the ring. I don't think niggas realize how high Dwayne Wade used to jump off the ground.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because he has deception in his like body style and length and shit like that. But yeah, man, it's like that kid, Anthony Edwards, the
Right.
number 1 pick. That boy.
How tall is Ja?
Josh like 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah, he's niggas
that same
watching
size.
him glide is
And
ridiculous.
dog, them niggas throw the ball
Just
in
watching
the rim,
him
bro.
take off,
Fam.
nigga.
Hey,
But his takeoff is beautiful.
these young
and
boys
his
is nice,
angry
man.
finish
Yeah,
every
these young
time.
boys is nice, dog. Like,
Because I know Kevin Love has nightmares
I was watching this,
about that miss
I was
dunk.
watching, I was watching some high school shit the other day,
Morano was
and I was
put
just
him
looking
under.
at these cats. I'm like, bro,
It's a different
it's
game.
a different game.
Because
These
them
little
niggas are
is
coming
nice
out
now,
there
bro.
to shit on you.
Because
And the niggas who can't dunk, them niggas is step back every time. Niggas just
Dog.
come up from half court. Effortless.
What it is like
y'all
the
niggas
games
is-
have merged. Like, they don't hold young American basketball players back like they used to. Like, if you got strokes, they letting you pull that
Matt
thing.
Ryan says
know what I'm
Anthony
saying?
Edwards Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, right. Nah, he's not Matt. Florida Matt. I ain't gonna lie, I like him, but
it's
you
gonna
need to
be
go look at what
LaMelo,
LaMelo's
bruh.
doing, dog.
LaMelo is so
LaMelo is the rookie of the year,
filthy,
fam.
dog.
He's leading every rookie in every category.
Naturally.
So
he
like,
looks
so
natural.
think about this, fam. Like, he's leading it. Like, Wiseman should be leading in rebounds.
Nigga, matter of fact, shout out to motherfucking LaMelo out there doing his thing
Yeah,
as a
man.
rookie, nigga. Boy is nice. Like, but you said it. You always said it. He gonna be the one to get to the league, and he's just gonna.
He's
gonna
different,
make
bro.
it
He's a
look
different
so
breed.
easy.
He makes it look easy, and it's just like
He looks like he's in high school again.
I still sense that LaMelo is somewhat holding back to fit in with his teammates. Like, he's still not
Right.
comfortable being just that dude yet. Next year, watch, bro. It's like when he hasn't had a whole training camp. He hasn't had a rookie preseason. He hasn't had a summer league. When he gets to summer league and he gets the whole full training experience of an NBA where they get to really put muscle on his body and add to his vertical and make him quicker.
Isn't Edwards on? He's on my team, ain't he?
Minnesota?
Oh,
he's on Minnesota. Y'all got a nice kid.
Detroit got Jeremy.
It's this little guard that's from Europe. He's from American, but he was in Europe and he's over here. He's gonna be nice, but it's just gonna take him a couple of years. He's supposed to be like a Tony Parker type.
Why Michigan got fucking 3 top high school American high school or the American all-star high school players, nigga?
The same
motherfuckers want to go to Michigan
because the university. I'll tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Because the University of Michigan did what the University of Nevada, Las Vegas failed to do, and that is one of those boys from the national championship days.
Right.
Like Stacey Ackman was here as an assistant coach for years. They kept passing him over for guys that never played in the league. You know, he coached.
He said Greg Anthony ain't even came back.
He coached. He left. He coached. He coached in the NBA. He was coaching Kobe and them as an assistant coach, and he still couldn't get a head coaching job here at his alma mater that he won national championships for. So he's gone now, I think. And what did Michigan do? Damn, we can't really get back to what we was. Oh, okay. We gonna lift the band on the Fab Five. Oh, okay. Let's bring one of them motherfuckers back as a head coach.
Who's the head coach of Michigan now, Chris?
DeJuan Howard.
Oh, yeah.
DeJuan Howard.
It's going to be nice.
So because of that, when you're All-American and your 55-year-old daddy, nigga, is helping you decide schools,
right?
Who you think he wants you to play for?
Michigan.
Exactly.
He wants you to go play for an ex-NBA
Now, if you have
player.
one of them old UNLV boys,
right?
they'd be like, oh, boy, you UNLV boy, that was bad back in the day, son. You got to go. There's
Larry
name
Johnson,
recognition. Come on, fam.
Larry Johnson went to be
It was Stacey Ackman, who's the second best player on the team. Like, it was Larry or Stacey. You know what I'm saying? It's just like if Chris Webber would have went to Michigan versus like, it don't matter. Like, any one of them niggas, like, brings All-Americans and name recognition and brand recognition. Like, people was hype again. Like, yeah, let's go.
Or like when Anthony Hardaway went back to Memphis.
Come on.
Niggas
they
going to Memphis, right?
They got the number 1 pick or number 2 pick.
Right.
I think it was the number 2 pick off 4 games.
I know you smacking the shit out this table.
Am I? No, I thought I was just hitting this.
Oh, you hit something.
Oh, my bad. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you would think it's a simple transition.
But Anthony Edwards did just shit on somebody the other day.
Bro, I seen this nigga dunk on somebody the other day, fam.
It was on was it Toronto or the Rockets?
I think it was.
It was an all-red team.
When he landed on the dude?
Yeah.
So that was the nastiest dunk I done seen in the game.
Dog, I want to fight.
And he dunks angry, too. I like that.
I understand you ain't going to be able to fight in the NBA game, but I'm going to want to fight you after that. Like, I hate you.
Shit, some niggas be really
If you just shitted on me like that, I want to throw hands with you at that point.
Or nigga, don't jump.
I'm
Go
going
hit that
to.
weight room. Because the thing that he dunked on had about 4 inches on him.
Oh, my God.
You know what I'm saying? It was a big dude. So
shitted on him.
He took him.
Didn't even phase. It's just like, oh, I got you. It's over. Be part of this post.
They say son got a football background. They say he was like nice at football. So he plays.
Well, look at LeBron.
He plays with that aggressive. Look at AI.
Yeah,
like,
AI was a fucking.
Charlie Ward was nice like that. It's a lot. Look, Matt Barnes. There's a lot of cats that like that play football.
AI might have played football in this league.
He could. Now, the Eagles.
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, no, the Eagles was talked about on one time. Nigga had put a pressure out there where there's, they had threw a little flyer out there for him to like try to play special teams or something for him. I remember that shit.
Quarterback and see what he do.
Just like when LeBron almost went and played for the Cowboys.
Drew Brees is 6 foot tall and did great at playing quarterback.
Come on, now they see that. Look at Kyler.
Yeah.
Come on,
You don't have to see over that line.
Imagine if Pat White would have got a shot in this league.
Right.
Or Troy Smith or you know what I'm saying? They kind of phased out of the league because they wanted him to play other positions. I'm sorry, dog. If you make it to the NFL as a quarterback, you can't. To ask you to play receiver to me that's hard.
Tyler Gregory said quickly is the truth.
Hey, Tyler, that's my guy. Tyler got a basketball IQ. He knows the game. Yeah. And I will say this. Quickly is a beast. I'll say that. He is a beast.
LaMelo and Edwards play on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's going to go down.
I get to see that one.
They're going down. I didn't see the game tonight, but I know LaMelo now.
Hey,
I think they're playing like Portland or something.
The way
LaMelo's
that
just
nigga,
big, dog. He's 6'9" with shoes on.
Right.
They keep saying he's 6'7", but if you go to the website during the draft, like they measured him out at a little bit over 6'8" with socks on. Right. So when you put sneakers on,
you get an inch.
With the guard skill. And when guys are tall and they have like a compressed skill set, like he plays the point guard position the way I would or something. Like, and for to be that tall, that's why it looks so effortless. because he can see everything, and he just, you know what I'm saying, like where he can't get to, he can pass the ball to.
Right.
So it's just it's a joy to watch, man. It's a joy to watch. I want to predict, man, that whoever gives LiAngelo a shot is gonna.
I wish Detroit.
They won't
would've.
regret it.
I'm
No,
so mad that we
no,
got
but
rid
I
of him.
peeped it though. It's not even Detroit's fault. Fans was upset, but I looked into it, man. Like, cause I was like, that don't make sense. Remember, I was
Not
tripping
at
about that
all,
shit?
dog. Like, why the fuck would we?
Well,
not?
the reason why Detroit let him cut him without him playing, they already liked him. Detroit liked him. Like,
Right.
no, we like this cat. He can play. He's a baller. He's a good kid. But they didn't have any roster spots for him. The only way he was going to be able to stay on the team is just by making the team and then being sent to the G League. Well, after they signed him, like the next day or two, the owners announced that they weren't going to participate with the G League team because they're not making a lot of money. It's Detroit, and they probably just felt like all them owners are cheap. They probably was just like, I'm not paying for a G League team to go down to Florida and be in a bubble.
Right.
So they just didn't do that. So now because Jello was on a roster, he wasn't eligible for the G League draft. The G League is more condensed this year and compact this year than ever before. They said it's like comprised of like 3 to 5% actual NBA players that are just waiting for the buyout market, waiting to get signed as free agents and need somewhere to be in shape and to play. So it's just a heavy pool. I know that like London Lions is trying to sign them hella bad. They're the only professional team in London. They're actually a really big franchise outside of the USA. He lit their ass up out of high school. When he went over there, when he first went pro over in Lithuania, he lit their asses up for like damn near 40.
Just work their ass.
Yeah,
Like,
so they
sign him.
Yeah, they own him. And with the name recognition and the brand recognition, like you can't lose.
Right.
Dude got strokes, so I think he'll get a shot. You ready to start the show, man? You got that shit off your chest?
Yeah.
All right, man. Sit, folks, man. We about to get it in. All right. Now, we talked about this shit before on past episodes, but I had never seen the movie. All right. First off, we want to send a hero's rest in peace to Gary Webb. The name might ring a bell. Gary Webb was an investigative journalist for what was it, the L.A. Times originally? And that, because I know he broke the story out of like some small town. Look,
It's like some sister company of something.
whatever. We're not a news organization, man. Gary Webb was an investigative reporter that discovered that Ronald Reagan and the U.S. government, the CIA, was basically saturating the inner city with and infusing the inner city with crack and cocaine, so that the money could be generated so that they can then support a war that Congress wouldn't give them funding for, known as the Iran-Contra War. So while his wife was literally in front of the cameras telling kids like myself in certain neighborhoods to just say no to drugs, her husband was literally flooding. He was the connect. Ronald Reagan was the connect. Okay, so to all my cousins, man, to all the kids I know, like, all the cats in Brooklyn and from Northtown that got caught up in that cycle of, all the jobs are being sucked out of the community. There's no jobs, nobody's hiring, but you can make $1,500 to $5,000 a day just chilling on your block, selling a powdery white substance. Not knowing what it was going to do to the community and crime rate, not knowing what it was going to do to the individuals that became addicted to it. This is an atrocity that I think Black America is still not all the way rid themselves of. It's not something that we haven't grown out of it all the way. And a lot of it has been self. We've pulled ourselves out. But that being said, me and Dre was talking about this before. He brung up this movie. He's like, "Oh, son, you got to watch the movie Kill a Messenger." And
yeah, if you know anything about Freeway Ricky Ross and the whole case and shit that he went through and all that shit, that all ties in with this Gary Webb shit. Gary Webb is one of the reasons that fucking Rick Ross was even able to get out of prison and not do as much jail time as he was supposed to do.
Yeah, I think he had damn near life, didn't he?
Yeah, he was never supposed to get out.
So imagine this: it's a young man wakes up in his neighborhood one day, neighborhood full of poverty, deprived of any like true essence of opportunity, and he's basically solicited and scouted by a federal agent, a CIA agent, or informant, or basically someone that they allow to commit crime to induce others into commit crime. I don't know if you want to call him an agent.
Right.
This person's not an agent of the law, right?
I mean, or are they?
This person's a criminal,
Or
right?
are
Yeah,
they?
or are
agent
they?
of the
Right.
law? You know
So,
what I'm saying?
that being said, I don't even know the guy's name, but whatever. He's a rat. We don't really need to discuss him like that. He literally starts selling. You know, he puts Freeway on. Basically,
Right.
this is a man that at the time can't even read. He's illiterate. He can't even read, and then all of a sudden he's making millions and millions of dollars a day. What would any human do, right? So it's not that he's criminalistic. He wasn't a murderer. He never killed anybody, but it was just like, man, for selling you this, and this white guy or this Hispanic guy from overseas keeps giving me this stuff, and he says the police are cool and nobody's gonna touch us, and we're allowed to sell this stuff and make all this money. So that's pretty much what happened. We never hear anyone talk about the crack era like that. See, I'm a kid that survived the crack era of Brooklyn, New York, man. My family fled it in some sense as well, but I remember, you know what I mean? And I remember the crack vials on the basketball court before I could go out and play, getting swept up and stuff like that. You from Detroit, fam? Originally, I know you know, right? Those cities they still look like in certain areas that it's the 80s because of the like epidemic of crack cocaine and the destruction. So when Dre told me about the movie, once again, Kill a Messenger, I thought to myself, like, you know, whatever, that's cool. I went and checked it. When I first started, I'm like, oh man, I wish this was a documentary. I'm more of a documentary guy than a biopic film. But I gotta say, man, in terms of like looking up the case and then watching that movie, it's probably one of the more accurate movies I've ever seen, like depicted on a subject like that. You know what I mean? And the fact that they said my man Gary shot himself twice in the back of the head. Come on, fam. The fact that because he told on the U.S. government for poisoning the black community and then imprisoning them and criminalizing them, because he told the little dirty secret,
Yep.
they didn't let him work at any other news outlet in the country, fam.
See, that'll let you know how fucked up America is. America essentially doesn't really matter, doesn't care what your race is. You do something that goes against America to that level, they're gonna kill you.
They're gonna kill you for it.
No matter who the fuck. You could be an ex-president that leaks out too much information, and we gonna find you shot twice in the head.
They said my man killed himself by shooting himself in the head twice. In the back of the head twice.
Right, like nigga, yang. Like, and first of all, how do you get a clear? You can't get a straight shot to the back of your head. Your hand is.
It's
caught.
like I said the other day, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Off
Like
camera, fam. I believe that anybody that shoots themselves, whether it's in the head or the foot, but especially in the head, and they survive it,
they're not doing it
the
again.
first thing they're thinking isn't to do it again. They gonna at least think
They
twice
gonna
about that shit.
think
Like,
like,
yo,
thank God that didn't work.
like, yo, this shit hurt. I don't know if this was a good idea. I felt better 3 seconds ago, right? To just do it again, and if they do, it's really gonna be because they're trying to put themselves out of their misery.
They really don't want to be here
Right.
no more.
It's just a tough story, man. And the way the cinematography of the film was a really good movie. The way they break it down, like I almost forgot that I knew the story. So when I'm reading the end, I'm like, oh shit, I forgot they clipped this nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a good movie, man. And I feel like patriots like Gary Webb should be, because there's journalists that we know, you know what I mean, that ain't never did shit for mankind or truth.
What made him great? Yeah, like you said, he never put out a story that was bullshit or that he fabricated. It was always like good information that he put out there.
Yeah, man, that shit's, it fucked me up, man.
And to see that's just, they just off that nigga like it was nothing,
Just killed
bro.
him, bro, like it was nothing. And they don't even talk about this cat, like.
And like I said, the story is they think that the CIA sent the dude that was in his hotel room that day that gave him a little too much information
to go finish the job.
Or they was going to knock him off.
But the thing is, also, is like when you think about back to Freeway Ricky Ross, like here's a black kid that just because of the neighborhood they picked is a byproduct of that.
Right.
You make him out to be a monster. You put him in there with monsters. He's in prison all this time. He learns how to read. And because he learns how to read, he starts to recognize that, what they're talking about in the newspaper and
It's
in the
what
Wall
I'm
Street Journal
directly involved
and the New
in.
York Times is directly tied into my case. I know that guy.
Right.
He's the one that gave me the coke. He's the one that gave me the money. Like, he's the one that said the police wouldn't arrest me. He's the one that told me everything was good. He's a U.S. senator? I know him. We partied before and did it. And so because of that, he was able to, like you said, get all that time thrown off.
Yeah.
But, dog, this cat is a real victim.
He's a victim of the Reagan era.
Free Ray is
He's a victim of the Reagan era, which so many people think was
I had
so
teachers
great, dog.
argue with me and threaten to kick me out of class because I would say shit like, "Oh, Reagan wasn't a good president. He was racist." And they were like, "Oh, what? No, that's Reaganomics was the best thing that ever happened to America." And I was like, "Man, I survived Reaganomics, bro. So Reaganomics is why I'm here. Reaganomics
I
is
don't
why I'm
get
in
how
Nevada."
they say that shit is like the greatest like era
It's
of
always two stories, fam.
of government.
It's always two stories.
If you were
like-
white, yeah, that era of government probably worked out
That's
real
what they
well
meant
for you.
That's what all my teachers were
But
telling
it
me.
definitely didn't work out at all
They
for black
definitely
people.
didn't understand what it was like to be a kid and see the things that I seen as a youngster, like and know that they didn't understand the kind of turmoil and
It's
because
they never had to go through any
Exactly.
like stop and frisk or
Bro, but
any
and
bullshit
what makes
like
the stop
that.
and frisk so
Man,
valuable
and
is that they put crack in the neighborhood. They put all these drugs in the neighborhood, so it's safe to assume that some of y'all we put enough in there so that some of y'all got something on it.
Right,
And then they
we
just
know
turned around
somebody's
on one
got
hand
something.
and made millions of dollars
Yeah.
locking cats
No.
up for it.
Yeah, and it made
on, fam.
billions for selling it.
Come on, they were winning off both sides.
And then the DARE program, which was one of the most harmful fucking things there was for the inner
You know what
city.
they call that? Poverty pimping.
Yeah, that's exactly
called
what the
poverty
fuck it
pimping.
was.
You,
I remember
when you
stupid
create
ass DARE
programs
classes.
for confused trans kids, and you don't get them no real help. When you create programs for foster kids and group home kids, and you really don't get them no help, you just getting money and taking money from the government. When you make a DARE program that, to me, DARE show. The first time I seen weed was in DARE.
Right, yeah. DARE showed you all the
I've
drugs.
been blowing tree ever
It
since I
told
was
you.
born,
It told you
but
all
for
the effects of drugs. You know what I'm saying?
Think about this. I was in a neighborhood that was in flux by drugs. But because I had
Right.
good parents, like a lot of us in that neighborhood did, nigga, my parents wasn't on drugs. I didn't see cocaine and weed and heroin until I went to school one day. And
I saw weed at a young age because both my parents
Right.
smoked.
Well, that's different, right?
You know
but
what I'm
then,
saying?
but
Plus, my
even
brother's 10 years older than me,
Right.
so you know
that
what
makes
I'm saying?
sense. I seen weed at a young age. I'm talking about just but I didn't see it directly from my parents. It wasn't really just in my face like that, right?
Right.
But that being said, weed don't even want to count. That shit's recreational now because it should have always been. But like other hard drugs and things like that, nigga learn about that shit in DARE. And so now I'm walking home and I'm like, yo,
You got the weed.
that's a crack vial.
Right? Yeah.
Like,
That's a needle. That's a heroin
what my
needle.
mom
That's
be sweeping up, and that's why she be tripping off me just
Going
going right off
outside,
to the
right.
court. She got to come sweep. And I used to think that shit was so weird, fam, because I'm like, my mom, why she got to sweep? And other kids is looking at it because maybe their parents didn't give a fuck
right.
or think about it.
Right.
But they appreciated it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we can go play over here. Nigga, I ain't got to. I'm still thinking because, she don't want to buy me another basketball. She don't want my ball to get punctured.
Nah, she over here
No,
trying
nigga, she don't want me to catch HIV, nigga, or come through high, nigga, off crack, nigga, because I done stepped on somebody's shit.
somebody vile.
Appetite, all kind of shit. Like, it's just the things you learn about what you survive as a child. You know what I mean? And then I was fortunate to move to the suburbs, fam.
Right.
I was fortunate to go right out of the slums to medium poverty, which was Las Vegas when I first got here, and then I'm in Reno. Like, shit was different,
Right.
and I had to adjust to that. Like, since I thank God I never had a love for trying to be a thug or some kind of gangster or some shit like that, so I never played those fantasies out.
Yeah.
And I used to always tell myself, like, nigga, I'm not gonna leave Brooklyn and go to Reno and start being a gangster.
Yeah, because why wouldn't you just do
Right.
it in Brooklyn?
If I was gonna really get out here and get to it, I might as well go home.
Do it right.
Where the field is set for me, and I can
and
really
where it's
I
not,
can really see some, I can
and where
do
it's,
something.
it's not so little that you're gonna get popped
I'm not
every
going-
2
right.
fucking seconds.
You know what I'm
like,
saying? I
oh,
could
that's
really
Ken.
win.
We know he got
I could
something. on.
really win.
Right.
So it's just, those are some of the things that just kept me grounded mentally in that aspect of it. You know what I mean? But
Nah,
What you
Kill
gonna
the
do?
Messenger is probably one of the dopest movies, dog. As far as like
Especially if you're of a certain age.
exposing like what the government was
Fam,
about back
if you
in
lived
Reagan
that
era.
I can only imagine people that were older than us that actually lived
Yeah.
the era. But if you like even just got memories of being a kid in that era, you kind of think and be like, damn, this is what they did to us.
Like think about
this is when
here's the fucked up thing. Think about how many crack babies there are.
fam, that's what I was about
Think
to get to.
about how many families lost mother, father, or mother and father to crack
But
fucking
think about
use and shit
how
like that.
black people have been made to like feel like it's just because you niggas is lazy and want to do crack.
Right.
You niggas just want to do crime and sell
No,
drugs
it's because you
and not get a job.
motherfuckers pumped this
Like,
in here and showed that this dude, I can make all this money off of it, and showed this motherfucker is the greatest high in the world.
But didn't right. That's prophetic as fuck what you just said. That's a bar.
Like, you
But
know what I'm
also
saying?
what they don't talk about is like the negative stigma that comes with it. But fam, you didn't just influx the neighborhood with drugs because you're smarter than that.
No.
You killed all the jobs first.
And you made the only way to survive is either off the government or off the government.
You created the one government assistance program in American history that said, black women, if you want assistance from the government, your black husband can't live in the house with you and your children.
Right.
And then at that time, when you were forcing legally, and if any of my white friends have never experienced this or heard of this, please do the research on it, man, and I'd love to talk to you about it. It was a time where if you lived in certain communities and there was government aid being given to your family, your father or the father figure of the house couldn't be there. So they would have to constantly be on alert and sneak out of the house.
Section 8,
when
that
the
shit.
authorities came to check to make sure no man was in the house. So then fast forward just a few generations or decades later, I have to hear about how black men ain't shit and they don't want to be fathers to their children. But the people that say those things are making a sound educational observation. Right. They're just talking about they're not even being racist. They're just saying what they see, but they don't have the context of why that's created. And a person that doesn't understand this will look at us and be like, "Oh, you're just making excuses and playing like you're not really. You got to pull yourself up by the."
See, I hate that fucking term, dog. Fam, I want to choke some of you niggas by your bootstraps, bro.
I hate that term. Yeah, that's a definitely layered term. But it's just when you watch the movie, and we're gonna move on. It's just something that like I think everybody should go check it out. It's an older movie. It's not that new, but it's still like. It to me, it just put a lot of things in perspective
from growing up in that era,
based on the surroundings. You know what I'm saying? And then it's just like anything that they mean for one group of people is always gonna spill to the next. So this is the birth of the opioid crisis because they made a bunch of crackheads and then like put a war on crack. So then it was and criminalized people that was addicted to crack. So now crack wasn't hot, and you go to jail for doing crack. Like
like what the fuck?
And then all of a sudden here come the opioids.
Yep, the new opioids came with like pain management, and that's the thing. It's no longer cure the pain.
It was disguised
as treat
right
the
and
pain.
It was disguised as that.
So it's now you got and look at all the professional athletes that are pumped with opioids and the fucking drug addictions
they have
they
just got the weed
at the
pass.
end of their fucking careers and all that.
That's why they got the weed pass because they were saying that the Players Association, the
fighters,
NBA, NFL, they were saying that they was like,
in general,
you give me a jar full of opioids, but find me millions of dollars and want to kick me out the league if I smoke a joint. To like ease my back pain.
But I'm addicted to this shit when I get out the league.
Now I'm just gonna be a dope head and everybody say I'm a loser because you're trying to figure out what's wrong with me.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just it's a lot, man. It's a lot. I will say that. Moving right along. I was gonna get into this and we'll jump around. I didn't have no rhythm to this, but we did want to talk about the Congress. Congress, I don't know if you've seen this. And we'll just breeze through it. It didn't really matter if you've seen it because the topic is so vague. So, two things that I seen just over the weekend that Congress was having Senate hearings on.
Mm-hmm.
One
was the bill.
Was
the bailout.
That's not even what I was talking about. That passed. Shout out to the Dems. It passed so far. We'll see what happens in the House. Get us our money.
But we already know we own everything. There's nothing that
get us our money though.
You can't fight.
Motherfuckers, get us our money, okay? But I'll say this. This is just what got my attention.
Mm-hmm.
It was, they did a hearing on black slave reparations,
Mm-hmm.
what that would look like, how would that go, why the importance of it, et cetera, et cetera. That's something that to me is simple. We can breeze right through that.
Mm-hmm.
To think that Jewish Holocaust survivors are descendants, to think that Japanese descendants of Hiroshima, et cetera, to think that slave owners
Mm-hmm.
and their descendants
Right.
all got government reparations. What are we talking about? Right. So we'll move on to that. Get in the comments. Let us know. Akeem, you bugging? We don't owe you niggas shit. Or yeah, it makes sense. And then the second thing, and this is what I really wanted to dive into. It was they were talking about
What term did we say that we hated?
pull them up by the bootstraps. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Okay. Matt, young Florida Matt said his grandfather used to say that shit, but he's in the military, so we understand that.
Florida Matt, trust me, bro. That's my brother.
So
I
we
understand.
get that. My grandfather was in the fucking
My grandfather was a
army, bro,
military
so I
person
get
and
it.
used to say that. So I know it's not just a racist
He said
thing.
Georgia suppressing the election.
No, exactly. They're exactly doing that. They've implemented, like, I want to say damn near 30, 40, 50 bills that are all voter suppressive since Georgia went
Democrat?
blue. Yeah, because they know they can't afford for Georgia to go blue. You know what I'm saying? Texas is on the cusp of going blue, and once that happens, it's over. But the other thing I wanted to get in, and I'll pass it over to you, get your discussion on it, bro, is like they're talking about now, and they were talking about it like it was new, so it was kind of annoying being an African American person. But at least they're talking about it. They were talking about the growing concern of basically, for lack of better terminology, homegrown terrorists, right? And you know what this is coming from? It's coming from the terrorist attack on Capitol Hill. But one of the things I thought was crazy is that, and this is the thing, I hate sounding like I'm just the most Democrat motherfucker up here. I hate that, like, sounding like I'm Mr. Democrat, right?
Because really, I'm not.
That's
They align more with what I want.
So at least they appear to. And we'll
yeah,
see.
that's
And
real.
we're
We're gonna find this
too,
out.
right? But,
you know what? I'm gonna talk shit to you if Kamala ain't shit in this office.
Oh, well, nigga, shit. I'm gonna talk shit about her, nigga. Like, what you mean? Like, shit. I said that, nigga. We going off the options we had, fam.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Because
So
you know who we wanted.
Right.
We
Right.
didn't want fucking
fam,
Biden.
right,
We wanted
right.
Sanders. Like,
so. With this being said, like, though, like, just think about it. Like, the growing concerns they were saying. Now, they talked about the growing concerns of white nationalism. They wasn't. They did talk about that. They didn't exclude them. And the Democrats basically solely wanted to talk about the growing concern. And the thing is, I'm watching this, and I know that most people don't watch these Senate hearings. So that's what fucked me up about it. It's like, bro, they're saying that like nearly 15% of American police department are card-carrying members of either the Ku Klux Klan or some other right-wing
some
neo-Nazi
white nationalist shit.
supremacist group. Now, you don't gotta tell Keem that.
No,
I know
we've
that.
always
I've always
known
assumed that and knew that. Barack Obama and fucking, I can't think of his name right now. Eric Holder, the Attorney General, first black Attorney General.
Right.
They did a report and they said this, so I believe them. So because of my experiences, what I've experienced, because even my white friends would be like, "Oh, Keem, let me drive so we don't get pulled over," like little shit like that. So that tells me that they even.
Dog, we would always make that joke. Hey, there's a white dude in the car. We good.
Right.
We ain't going.
So
We're just gonna let him talk.
Let him drive, right?
Or let him talk. Like
so
how every pulls up.
you get it, right? So like we all kind of joke about that. All right, whatever. Well, they kind of put facts to it. Like, well, this is a real thing and it's a growing concern. Well, they implemented bills and stuff like that to kind of address it. Congress has always poo-pooed it. Like, Republicans shoot that shit down.
Yeah.
Well, hearing so-called American leaders and representatives and people in 2001 try to justify why a group known as the Hebrew, this is what the Republican Party was in there talking about. They said white nationalism is a liberal myth. Right, the white people that attacked the Capitol was not white people that attacked the Capitol. That was a bunch of Democrats acting like Trump supporters to make them look bad. These are motherfucking U.S. senators and shit making this argument.
Well, I mean, we got senators like fucking Ted Cruz, so it does not
Well, no,
surprise me.
but I'm
It's
saying-
stupid. Did you see the dumb
Hold on,
shit?
let me get this off because
Go
I
ahead,
want to
go
lose,
ahead,
and then
go
I'm
ahead,
going
go
to
ahead.
be quick and just give it to you.
All right.
Ted Cruz, I get it. So look, they're going off, and I'm watching this shit like, wait, okay. So, and to a man, all the Democrats, every time they would bring up like the Nation of Islam, who's never killed anybody or harmed anybody, or they would bring up like Black Lives Matter.
Right.
They would have when the Democrats would cut them off, like, man, you can't compare them to the same. Like the Democrats, like they would, for all the logical reasons we don't have to get into, they would shoot that shit down. And then they landed on the Black Hebrew Israelites. Now, if you're from the East Coast or Midwest, you're very familiar with this entity. If you're from the Bay Area, you might be familiar with this entity. Maybe Los Angeles is something that's growing on the internet and things like that. But you can look up the Black Hebrew Israelites and make your own opinion. I'm not here about to argue what they believe in their thought process.
Right.
But the thing is that they're a group of brothers that enlighten themselves on a certain message. They do certain things in their community, but they're not a criminal entity. They don't preach hate. They don't preach hate. They don't do hate crimes or anything like that. And it's just like, man, in 2021, you really have elected officials really out there apologizing and like literally making excuses for white supremacy. And because everything's so data derivative now, you have the data to see that, like, no, there's a rise in this shit. This is a problem. In the military, the U.S. Senate, the Capitol, like law enforcement.
The one thing that white people are never,
I
ever,
digress.
ever, 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 ever gonna to admit is that these groups have infiltrated the police. They will never. It could be because look at it. You have the prep to prison pipeline.
Some
that,
will never.
That
Most will never.
Most will never.
There's a strong majority
You have the
of
prep to prison pipeline that there's still people like, oh, that doesn't exist. That we had a fucking judge get sentenced to 26 years in prison for.
Well, because it's just
like
that
I'm so sick of motherfuckers just refusing to believe the data and the evidence. If a nigga goes to prison for the prep to prison pipeline, that lets you know that the prep to prison pipeline exists. You can't sweep it under the rug and just be like, nah, that didn't happen. That was an isolated incident. No, it's not. That nigga it was hella kids that he did it to.
You're right, but they have the
I'm so just.
This is the thing. See, this is where I've learned to separate it.
They don't.
And it's hard. But I separate my anger at this.
And hold on, let me.
Woefully versus ignorance.
White people, I generalize and I apologize. For you ignorantly woke people, for you ignorantly sleep people, for you fucking Republicans out there that just refuse that there's another side to any coin other than the head side.
Bro, you can be rich
That's
and be a
who
Democrat.
I'm
so tired of my Republican friends, like, because I'm like, man, they always talk economics to me.
Right.
I'd be like, dog, well, okay, we'll follow the economics. Republicans always drive up the what? The deficit, because they either want to get tax. They always fuck the economy.
They always
off.
want tax cuts for the
In
fucking
my lifetime,
wealthy.
No Republican has truly like added or created a good economy.
Not at
like
all.
it's, I swear, and that's just one.
Because when was the last time we were at a zero deficit?
Clinton, right?
Yep, Democrat.
And if you look at what and look, bro, give my nigga his credit, bro. If you look at what Barack did. And what
Barack did a lot. I'm
inherited-
just talking about a zero deficit. That's like one of the only things. You know what I'm saying?
If you look at what he
did
inherited
great for the economy.
and what he inherited and what he left with,
he inherited.
I
Yeah,
mean,
he inherited
the very economy that Trump supporters hail is really Barack's economy.
He inherited. Obama inherited a post-war torn Bush administration.
Recession, man. We was
After his recession, and you know what? Bush didn't start the housing recession. That was put into play back in the day with all those predatory loans and everything.
Bush fucked this country up.
Everything that crumbled was put in place presidents before because of predatory lending and all that shit.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, it's about sustainability. A lot of things are institutionalized. You still have the responsibility to oversee this great nation.
But there was, I don't think anybody could have helped the housing market.
No, yes, they could have. What Bush did was Bush had this theory of lack of oversight.
Have you watched that movie on the housing market with Christian Bale?
I don't believe so. But
you gotta watch that shit.
I'll check it out. But what Bush deregulated everything. He gave everybody open market. You know, like, oh well, y'all can regulate yourselves. Like we're gonna give Wall Street and the banks all these billions of dollars and have access to everybody's, have access to everyone's assets and then you can do whatever you want with no oversight. Like even after the bailouts, you remember when Barack Obama called some of them motherfuckers out because after the bailouts, they still were giving themselves record like level bonuses and shit like that. Like, why do you get a $2.5 million quarter bonus as the lead banker, and then the government had to pay for your shit so you didn't lose everything?
Florida Matt said Eisenhower was the last fiscally responsible Republican. He also said that
I can't. You know what? I would have to agree with him on first. And first off, I wouldn't even fact check it because I know Matt. Like he's speaking from facts, from an educated place,
right.
But that sounds right. Is what
it
I'm trying
does,
to say.
like
that sounds right.
Because they say Reagan was like the last great Republican.
Reagan
and
sold us
we've
to
been talked about this
corporations, man.
nigga like he's the
Reagan
worst.
was a drug dealer, man. He was a gangster.
He was a kingpin. He was a drug kingpin, a nigga who never touched dope in his life but made billions of dollars off of it.
Hey man, it's a lot of old school white.
No, you're right, Matt. We should
that
own the fucking banks.
Live that way in their
We
communities.
should own
and their
every
homes.
bank. It's our money in these banks.
Fam.
We should. How does somebody else own the bank when it's our money in these motherfuckers? You know what I'm saying? We take all our money out, that bank don't exist no more.
That's a fact.
But no, because you got to watch out, Florida Matt, because last time we did some shit like that, they blew it the fuck up.
Yeah, man. See, the thing is about American.
In Tulsa,
culture.
Oklahoma, we had Wall Street, Black Wall Street, and we had our own banks. We had
Yeah,
our
our
own
stuff.
everything.
Not even just in Tulsa. They did that. I mean, in New York, all that. But
And they bombed that. So I'm talking about the one that got blew up.
oh yeah. But see, the thing is this: like, even if you take it just like, and I don't, let's take it off just race, bro. I forgot the name of it. There's a documentary about it. Our government, man, they went in there and killed a group of motherfucking majority white people that bought up some land and decided they wanted to have like their own little hippie village, nigga, and live their own life.
A commune.
Right?
You talking about Waco?
No, it wasn't even Waco. It was
Yeah.
some other shit. Like, I'm gonna find it. I was just, surfing one day and just.
Well, now
found
we
it.
think about what we got to worry about with that group of black people that own that land in Atlanta now.
You gotta be careful for them. You gotta pray for them.
We got to hope that they don't get their shit blown up because America has proven if black people get some type of shit like that going, all other black people do got to buy into that. Because here's the problem.
Well, it's the thing though.
You open a black owned chain of banks. Black people like me and him are withdrawing our money out of any bank account we got right now, and we're going right over to them.
Well, people, it's identifiable politics.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I'm
And
going where
everything
my
else.
people is at. I'm going where I hope, because we don't know. Maybe the bank niggas.
We're
but if it's
probably
not,
the only
it's a
American
nigga-
tribe of people that are 100% accustomed to doing things like that, like outside of our code. Like, so when they talk about money circulation, it's not a racist thing, right? It's just the way the system is set up.
Right.
It's set up to where the average black person doesn't have the opportunity to circulate their money within their community. And if we say in community by race, within their race, before you send it out. So they're saying like the average white family, they can go pay their mortgage, order some Domino's, go to Supercuts, go to Walmart. Now, these are not their family. They're not benefiting from spending their money with these people no more than we are. But they're basing it off race. So, and it's nuanced like that. So some people be like, what? Like, it don't make sense to them because they don't think off race. But they're basing it off race. So what they're saying is that's where the term white privilege and shit like that comes in. Oh, your money circulates within people that looks like you.
Exactly.
Right?
Right.
And why is that important? Because if you're lacking
That's
on
how
some
the rich
things,
stay rich.
a person that looks like you can read you a little bit better and tell that you're not a thug. Tell that you really just made a couple mistakes and need a little bumping, a little push, pause. You know what I'm saying? Like to get a little head start. Or they can see where you're lacking. They identify with you. They know that, like, man, 20 years ago I was just like you. It's hard for older white guys sometimes to see that in me when I'm sitting there young in his office talking different, sounding different. The only thing he knows about people that look like me is what he sees on TV and hears in rap music and shit. Nigga, like, I can see those cultural differences. Just like I can see a black kid sitting there looking at an older white dude like, you don't understand what I'm talking about. Like, I can't talk to you. You don't get me. Right? It's cultural differences. It's just that when we deny them economically, we all lose. Like if America didn't, Japan and places like that win because even if you're born poor, and you go and you work you pull yourself up by your bootstraps, you're still Japanese.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So And
That's the crazy
in
shit. You're
certain
right.
countries-
You're right.
In certain countries, they've evolved past this tribalism where it's like, oh, we're all this. So they all benefit from that because there's no entity trying to undereducate
I never
one group
even
of American
thought
kids,
of that, dog.
right?
Right,
One group of
because
American
it's
kids
all one country.
versus
It's
another
all
group of American
right.
kids. Like, how do you know that it's a black kid from Compton?
'Cause,
That God said that's going to be the one that cures
That's
cancer.
real because we have what
That's gonna
we
be
have.
the one that
we
does it,
have
like-
we have African Americans,
Educate
we
them.
have Caucasian Americans, we have Asian Americans, Mexican Americans, Native Americans. Everything American if you're born here of another heritage.
but we haven't got
if you
through our
go-
tribalism
If you go
yet.
other to the other country,
Right.
Japan is Japanese. It ain't African Japanese,
Listen,
Caucasian Japanese.
Just because
You know what I'm saying?
Just because you're
Like,
Chinese
it's
does not mean that you're never gonna have hardship or feel any discrimination of any
No,
sort.
you do.
The thing is
because
that
they do just like us. The darker Asian
but
people
no,
get
hear me, hold on,
fucking
no, hear me
hated
out
on
though.
too in their
But
culture.
no, but hear me out though. The thing is though, you're still Asian and you're still Japanese.
Yeah.
So I could not like you because of this.
Right.
But one thing we can't deny, and one thing that we do have a common bond in,
Is we're both Japanese.
so when it's us against everybody, what are we doing? right? So
Right.
that's what I'm saying. Excuse me. New York City, right here in Las Vegas, excuse me. There's certain casinos that are owned by Asian entities. And guess what one of the things is like, well, it needs to be this certain a percentage of Asian employees there.
right.
Now, that's not a bad thing. I
Not
respect
at all.
that. African Americans don't have that type of thing. They don't have that backing.
It's because we're
so to
always
speak.
inclusive. We've been inclusive. You already said this. We've been inclusive for way too many years.
Right.
If we stopped being inclusive, say 60 years ago, when we've got some sort of rights, we might be way better off and way more different in this
That's why
than
some
we
of the
are.
greatest black people and the greatest minds felt. Malcolm X said it. It's not that we're racist that we want to separate from white people. It's the way you treat us.
Right.
Let us separate. Let us fix our own self.
Right.
Right? Let us fix ourselves. Let us get back healthy and right.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can integrate again. But we'll be on equal terms so that when you deal with us, you'll deal with us the way you deal with the nation of
You'll
Israel
have to.
or something like that.
You know what I'm
versus
saying?
dealing with us as people that used to be your property, telling us that, oh, we owe you this, but we'll give you this. Like, this was yours, but that was a long time ago.
But haven't
Like, you know
given
what I'm
us
saying?
a goddamn thing.
Hey, because it's ugly. Because if you look at South Africa and you look at the black government that's finally freed themselves and took back over,
Right.
and they're going over and taking land from white people and putting them out their homes. Me, the person that's lived my life and what I've seen and the privilege I have sympathy for that because I'm like, damn, that was 60, 70 years ago. That was their grandparents that did that. There are their parents.
They
These
got
people,
left this house
they've been
and
living in
shit.
South Africa thinking that they inherited this home and this farm and realized it was stolen land. But
Right.
hey, it's stolen. Stolen is stolen. That's not yours.
Exactly.
But how do you rectify it?
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's a conversation that the country needs to have. Truly. Like, if motherfuckers are tired of black people talking about racism and all that shit, fix the problem. Because I'm tired of talking about that shit. Like, I'm tired of it being an issue.
Like I said, well,
It holds our country back.
This is what America is great at: treating the problem, not
Curing the problem.
curing
Right,
the
you're right.
problem. That is America's motto.
I got one more.
When it comes to healthcare, to everything, treat it.
I got one
Don't
more
cure
tidbit
it.
I wanna
Because if we
throw in
treat
there.
it, we make way more money off of
Yeah,
it
the money's
than
in
if
the
we
medicine.
just cure
Right,
this
yeah,
shit.
The money's in the medicine.
And that goes for everything. When it comes to these rich ass motherfucking people, and it be your own people sometimes. It ain't just. I mean, there's not a lot of black 1%ers, but it's just ridiculous. I'm just saying per
But no, I feel what
capita
you're
to
saying.
the
No, I
white.
get
You know
I
what I'm
get
saying?
I get you.
I can't. You got to cure the problem. You can't treat it. You can't put a Band-Aid on a fucking dam that's cracking, nigga. Or not. The dam's broke. You can't put a Band-Aid on that and think it's gonna fix itself. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's true.
You couldn't fix Katrina levees in New Orleans with no
Patching it up.
Band-Aid.
And that's what they did. That's why they
And
knew
look
that shit
what
was
the
gone.
fuck happened. It broke.
It yielded them beachfront property. Is what it did. It got all the poor black people out the way. I mean,
And
but
that's what this country is known for.
they're
Is
doing that.
trying to get black people of poverty, which is most of us,
where it's dangerous
out the fucking way.
where it's dangerous is, and a lot of black people have to understand this. Unfortunately, like, we're in a place now where we got to share our movement and share our plight and share our pain.
Yeah.
We have to be mature and we have to get over it. There's a lot of white people that are going through the same fucking shit that black people are going through. Now, they don't have the situation of where they might be fear murdered by police, and they might not have the situation of where demographically they're forced to live in crime-filled areas, right? That's government redlining. Everybody out there, you can go look that up.
There's people who would tell you redlining doesn't exist.
Educate. That's because they have to educate themselves on it. They don't understand that. But you can go back to Brooklyn right now and places that you would never see white people in 30 years, and there's millionaire white kids that's buying brownstones and moving in the worst part of the neighborhood because they know the wave is coming, and you people aren't going to be able. And it's not
You're not gonna be
in
able
their
to
mind.
afford this.
In their mind, I'm sure. I don't even know if it's a racist thing. I just think
Right.
like, oh well, we're moving over here because the property's better. Brooklyn has always had the best view of Manhattan.
Right.
You know, it's always kind of been a joke that
I've always wanted to live in
they
Brooklyn.
gave Brooklyn
nigga.
like to the poor black people and shit, but we got the best view, nigga. Fuck y'all. So now they went and took the view back. Like so
Right.
now it's like, nope, we want that back. Brooklyn's turning into like a new Manhattan now. It's a double-edged sword because my little cousins and them, they can go downtown now. It's safer for them. It's the Brooklyn that I grew up in, or as a youngster, versus the shit that they running around in. It's not the same. But it's a double-edged sword in the fact that that means that it could have been that way when it was a majority black place. It's still America, but you didn't resource it. You put police there that were a part of the problem, that policed the area, versus police that was going to patrol it and keep it safe.
Right. So Matt said the problem is people are screaming America first, don't realize they're lucky because they came out their mama's pussy on American soil. America is literally the land of the immigrant. For real.
Facts. And that's why, look, bro.
Straight up.
Like,
The only original people of here are us and Native Americans. The white people that came over here are from fucking England, and they were
this is just it, though.
escaping that
now
whole
I'm gonna
shit.
I'm gonna take it one step further because no, I agree with you, but no. And the reason why I know is because even what Matt is saying, fam, the Africans that were the original cohabitants of California, known as Khalifians. The Prince of California, the Princess of California, was a black woman, and they still have statues to her to this day. They just don't teach kids about her in the textbooks no more, so nobody knows her, right? But that being said, fact check it, go look it up. It was a black man that established the city of Chicago. Donner Summit, right? Black guy. So, or the Donner Pass or whatever, was a black guy. So, there's black presence all through this country at a time where all black people were supposedly shackled and brought over here from Africa in shackles. That's not the true history of this country. But the bottom line is, to what Matt was saying, is even the Africans that got over here, and even the Eskimo people that migrated over allegedly when the land froze over and all that stuff and made their ways down here and later became Native Americans, they all came from somewhere else.
Yeah, they didn't come. That's
None
real.
of them motherfuckers was like just
That's real.
like, you get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So this is a land of immigrants. It's just that one group of immigrants became very dominant and vicious and powerful and rigged it so that the thing is, because we don't use the term European American.
Not at all.
Like, I don't describe none of my white friends. Oh, you what's up, bro? Because you're European American. So tell me how that's like. Like no, you're white.
Yeah, you're white. That's real shit,
Right?
though.
Like, the only, so it's just one of those things that, like, we just got to educate ourselves. Because some people, if you grow up hearing that you're white and everybody else is such and such American and such American, why the fuck wouldn't you feel like you're from here and everybody else ain't?
That's real.
If all the presidents and leaders of this country look like your dad,
yeah, you're just American.
self-consciously.
You're not something
Look, I
American.
ask some of my white friends that I know aren't racist. I'd be like, yo, think about this. You wake up at one day, your mom drop you off at school. Your parents take you to school for the first day of school, like your first day at your new high school or something.
Right.
And unbeknownst to them, like, just going to school to check everything out, and every adult there is black. Not only is every adult there black, they don't live in your community. You don't see these motherfuckers at the barbershop. You don't see them at church.
No
you don't see them at the
grocery stores,
grocery
nothing,
store.
bro.
Like, where the fuck? We live
Where
in a
are all
small
these
city.
motherfuckers at?
Where the fuck do y'all be at? Like, so all of the teachers, like every adult with authority, to raise your children when you're not there, when you're dropping them off to educate them and teach them of the world,
They don't
is
look
white.
like me.
Is white. I mean, it's black. I just want a lot of my friends that are
In Reno,
white.
they don't look like us.
I just want a lot of my friends that are white
They're starting
to think about what that, even just that small thing. It don't mean no racism going on, right? Let's just allege there's no foul play going on. You just wake up to go to school, right? You live in your normal neighborhood. You go to the school that you drive by every day. Like, I'm going to that school next year. You didn't think nothing of it, but you get there, and the only person that's white is the basketball coach. The only white adult authority figure you have to interact with when you go into that school is a white basketball coach. I just want anybody that can hear my voice to honestly be honest with themselves. And you know your parents. You know your parents better than I do and anybody else. We all of our look, you grow up and you realize your parents are just people, right?
Right.
So just be real with yourself. You don't got to tell on your parents. I suspect.
Yeah, what would your parents
I suspect
do in
a lot
that
of my
situation?
well-to-do, good-hearted, non-racist white friends, I think a lot of their parents
Are
just
gonna take 'em
off
somewhere else.
common sense will be like, "Ew, what the fuck is going on here? Like, ain't no white teeth. Like,
Variance,
not because you're
motherfucking
racist and you
variance.
gotta have white people around. Just off common sense, it'd be like the odds of this entire school
Right.
in a free country that's diverse to the point where in 20 years they're saying white people are going to be a minority. It's that diverse already right now.
Right.
The odds of just the eye. If you just rolled the fucking dice, it should be some more black teachers and Latin teachers here.
Yeah, that's real.
But the fact that since I moved to Nevada, I haven't really had no black teachers. And none of my friends that I knew once I moved here and grew up with since I lived here had ever pretty much had black teachers. None of them had more than one. I always thought that was crazy because I was a kid that, as a child, majority of my teachers were black.
Right. Well, we grew up in the inner city.
And that's the difference. So like I
We
see
didn't
that I'm
grow
not
up in Reno, Nevada like
I'm
that.
not knocking it, but it's just a fact. So it took me a while to realize it myself because I grew up with black teachers. It didn't take me. I always had a white teacher or two. So like it didn't really. I was probably 17 about to graduate high school when I realized like, damn, since I've been here, I haven't even had a black teacher, fam.
Yeah, you got
I
white
haven't had
teachers
one teacher to
teaching
be
us
like, hey, I'll see
fucking
you at the barbershop this weekend.
white
or,
people teaching us black history and all that stupid shit. The
Well,
little bit of black history there is.
And this is the
you
thing,
got
bro.
white people teaching
And this
us
is the
this
thing.
shit.
Like
They
I
haven't been through none of this struggle.
I
They can't
used to
even
be
teach
upset
it
with
from
that.
the right part.
I used to be upset
From
with
the right place
This
in
is
their
the
heart.
craziest thing about it. I remember being at school once. Look at you. I remember being at school once and thinking to myself, like, damn, that's crazy. The Latin teacher is white. It like because I had black teachers and shit. Like I had never I didn't think like, oh, I never had a black teacher. I just it was a time frame when I thought about it later on. Like, oh damn, I haven't had no black teachers since I've been here. That first, I thought it was just chance. You don't go to every teacher's class at your school. So I thought it was just by chance, like, oh, I didn't get no black teachers this semester. But then by the time I graduated and was just like, yo, and went to 2 schools in the same county, I realized that, damn, okay. Then I started mentoring. I started working in the group homes. I started working in social services. And I started talking to a lot of young black kids that had alleged anger issues and behavior issues. And I found a lot of them, and shout out to Miss Frias, man, I was able to talk to her about a particular student, a lot of it is cultural. A lot of it is simply cultural issues. It's, oh, he has an attitude, but it's not no, not really. But I come from an expressive people.
Right.
I'm not being rude or disrespectful. Right? And it's just little things. Oh, you're being too loud. Well, I just come from a loud tribe of people. I don't mean any disrespect by it. And then I had a teacher once, shout out to her. I'm not going to put her out there like that because we are Facebook friends and she was a good lady. But one of our curriculum assignments was to watch Friends. And she was always tying lessons into the show Friends. And I was just
You mean living single?
So this is my thing though. I told her, I was like, oh well, I know a show that I watched in my house that it's the same dynamics. Now this is before I even made the correlation that they had basically stole the show Living Single and made a white version called Friends. Dog, Living Single was the A-side show. They gave the Friends cast the A-side studio and put Queen Latifah and them in the B-side. That's from here to there, whatever.
Right.
But This before I could make that correlate. I didn't even know. I just naturally was like, oh well, this show has kind of got the same dynamics, but people in my house that I don't control as a youngster actually will watch this show. Nigga, you want me to go in my house with black women and be like, yo, like, we gotta watch Friends. First off, I'm a native New Yorker. How the fuck you gonna have a show in New York City and ain't got not name one minority or black person on it? And it's not a knock.
How is there no
This is not
black
a knock.
people on that
This is
show?
not a knock
That
on the
shit
show
still
Friends.
blows my mind when you say that shit.
This is not
bro.
a knock on the show Friends. This is me realistically trying to get my mother from Brooklyn, my sisters, to watch that shit.
Yeah.
And my mom is like, what the fuck you mean you gotta watch Friends for class?
How does
Like, that's
that make
not a
any
homework
fucking
assignment.
sense?
So,
Yeah,
like,
why
you know
the
what I mean?
fuck-
So it's just a
stop
different.
like how you keep correlating that shit with a black person's life. That doesn't.
Well, that's my point.
mesh
The
with
point
us,
is
like-
when you've not delved in diversity and you haven't
Friends,
had.
what the
And
fuck?
look, I have white friends that I don't know why they have the mentality they do, because they should be more closed-minded. They should be more biased, but they're not for some reason. That's
Right.
why I know this shit ain't rocket science. Like, because I got friends that never lived in black communities. I might have been one of their handful of black friends.
Right.
And I can have a conversation with them motherfuckers anywhere about any political subject, and it's not two apples to oranges. It's like, oh, you get it. Oh, why don't you treat me this way? And everyone, how come you see it and no one else does? Like,
Right.
you have a white mom and dad, and that's how you know it's not, you can't ever put all characteristics on one race, but it's like, damn. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when I have conversations with some of my friends of other races, now we talking about black shit because we black men, but think about the Asian kid at school. Ain't no fucking Asian teachers. They don't be having no Asian teachers. In a community, it could be a community where shit is like 8-9% Asian.
Right.
Simple math, motherfucker. Like, somebody, you don't know Asian teachers?
No, right. Yeah.
So now,
That's
think
it.
about it. Whether it's like, I just think it's America, bro. Like, I think all Spanish teachers should be like of Spanish culture. Just like I think
Yeah,
that
like, why-
I
that
really
don't-
believe this because I've experienced it on both ends. I've had black teachers teach me about black history. And I've had white teachers try to teach me about black history.
It's two
and
completely
it's not
different
fair.
experiences,
It's not
dog.
fair to the white teacher, and it's not fair to me as a black student because one, this teacher has to make sure that they're not being offensive about some shit that's very sensitive. Like, what if I say something wrong and he goes home and tells his mom, who was the president of the local chapter of NAACP? See, now
Coming
I'm
down
older,
here tripping.
now that I'm older, I realize the pressure that might have had on a
Right.
28-year-old white girl that the only black kid she knew was a couple of dudes from
Well,
college.
bruh, Tori is coming to me to ask what shit she should teach in Black history.
But that's why Tori's love, and rightfully so. Because guess what? If Tori was teaching a class on Brazil
Right.
and she was dating a Brazilian,
yeah, she's gonna go to the source.
but society hasn't made it so offensive and finicky, so that like if she come like what you trying to say? You don't know how to do this? Like, I don't expect white people to know black culture, and I don't expect black. The oxymoronic thing is by way of being an ex-slave in America by ancestral past and living as a black person in America, you do know white culture to a degree.
Real shit.
Like, you have to. Like, nigga, I grew up watching Saved by the Bell. Like, that was one of my favorite shows.
I hated that fucking
Listen to
show.
me.
I always
The reason
hated
why
that
it was
show.
crazy to me is because it was like nothing I had never seen until I moved to Reno.
Right.
And I remember one day talking to my cousin. He's like, yo, son, what's it like out there? I said, dog,
It's Saved by the Bell.
Sparks High School is Bayside High. Like, it's the closest thing, because now I had people saying that I was a jock because I played basketball. In Brooklyn or even in Northtown growing up, nobody was calling me a
No,
jock
you're
because
just
I
an
hoop.
athlete.
Nigga, you're Akeem, he hoop.
Yeah, he's
He don't game bang, nigga, he hoop.
He's a hooper.
Like, hey, little nigga, watch out, go hoop, nigga, and stay away from here. When it's real nigga shit over here. Like, that's
Right.
kind of that's what the OGs were saying when I was a kid.
Right.
Like, so I never thought of myself as a jock, right? But
Till
those are
you
the
get
terminologies, bro.
To
Nobody
the-
look in a lot of cities. I'm gonna vouch for. I'm gonna just say it. In Detroit, shout out to my boy Eric Devendorf. Any of my cousins back in Brooklyn, I don't care how many letters you got. Nobody's walking around with a Letterman jacket.
Nope.
That's a certain culture that does that, and it's cool. Like, to me, I
And
had only
also-
seen it on TV.
But that's also a target for you too.
I'm gonna give you another thing though, real quick. moving to like Reno and shit. Like nigga, when I would call back to New York and talk to my friends, none of my friends between the ages of 16 and 19 or 21 even damn near had a car. Like, what do you mean? Like, oh, y'all be driving to lunch, fam?
Right. Yeah.
Nigga, like, that's crazy. Like, cause
Well,
they know
New
it.
York,
Like,
a lot of New Yorkers don't even drive, so
right, but
you're not used to
still,
that. No 16.
It's just the culture
You're
of
not
it. Where
getting no car till you're grown.
I could dig it, but it's still like the culture where it's just like they thinking of like the shit that niggas be doing on lunch break, nigga, not with a car. And they're like, yo, nigga, y'all turned up out there. Like they don't understand. It's just different. You know what I mean?
Right.
These are not negative comparisons or anything like that. It's just different. And like to live there for a while, as long as I did, excuse me, and then speak to some of my friends about it. Some of them, they write in tune. It's not a thought process. It's like, yeah, that's crazy, right? But then, because I think of some of my friends and how they would have benefited from having black teachers, right?
Right.
How does that help you in the workplace? Like if you want to leave Reno, Nevada, or even Las Vegas or something, and you get a job in Chicago, and your boss is black and got long locks like me,
You're gonna feel more.
if
more
you equate this
comfortable.
to ignorance and ghettoism and street shit, you're in for a rude awakening.
Right.
And you might come off as somebody that you're not even not even trying to be. Like some of the shit my friends would ask me in high school, I would laugh because like whatever. Yeah, I would explain to them because I knew they were coming from a sincere place and just ignorant about it.
Right.
But I'm like, bro, this could be a whole fight if you ask me that in front of my cousin, because they wouldn't know how to take. They would assume like, what the fuck? What kind of stupid ass question is that? Like,
Dead ass. No,
are you
that's
racist
real.
or something? Like,
That's real as
they
fuck.
don't get it. Like they can't fathom that in America that there's kids that grow up and the only like interaction they have with urban black America is through music, through television,
Or through like traveling, playing basketball.
traveling, playing ball, or
Right.
a couple of classmates or teammates that's not from their like demographic, but for whatever certain interest it brings y'all together, where y'all like music, whether y'all like what I'm saying, sports or something like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just does better. It's better for everybody, because when you look at some of the white guys that take off in hip hop, I be looking at some of my white friends that I know that's nicer than them, but culturally they're not in a place that's conducive to them ever getting the push and the acceptance that they need in the culture to feel confident enough to really put themselves out there like that.
Okay. Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say? It ain't got shit to do with talent, fam. It's just the fact that you live in a city that's not conducive to inclusion.
Mm-hmm.
So you stand out like a sore thumb, and now you just got to be the closet rapper, or you're stuck in this conundrum where it's like, man, I know I'm nice, but they won't mess with me. Like it helps Eminem being from the Detroit area, fam, because one thing that Eminem is comfortable with is being in a room full of black people.
Yeah, that's real.
The way you and I had to adjust to going to school and growing up, like, okay, this ain't like where we was when we was kids. It's way more. You had to adjust. There's certain things that I might have gotten in trouble for that I wouldn't have gotten in trouble for
Back home.
got with Miss Epps as my old principal or things like that, because it's just culturally they understood me differently.
Mm.
It just wasn't a thing. Dog, I had a principal in elementary school that every morning, you know what our school dance was after the Pledge of Allegiance?
What?
We sung the Negro National Anthem first off, but after the Pledge of Allegiance, you know what we did every morning?
What?
The whole school, the electric slide.
That's hard.
It's an old black lady, nigga.
Mm-hmm.
Like she just made us all do the whole school, white kids, the white teachers, everybody had to do it. Like it's just something that now that's not important, but it's just an idea of like how culturally
To be inclusive.
Now, I know for a fact that there are white kids that have went on in life and from that school that they were able to integrate and mingle and interact with black people way easier and more earnest because they did know the Negro National Anthem. They knew that black people had their own national anthem.
Right.
When we couldn't sing the one that praised our murder and our captive. We have our own national anthem. So they know that. You'll know that there is an African American flag. You'll know that, oh shit, like that's crazy. Like the principal, like she kind of hip.
There's gonna be
She had us
kids.
doing
You know what's crazy?
the
There's
shit.
gonna be kids out there that play baseball that don't even know what the fucking Negro leagues are.
Right. And the thing is, to me, I keep trying to bring it into a broader conversation of
Hold
our
on,
culture.
I got one more thing. to say.
America, the
Jackie
whole.
Robinson is just getting the cover of a baseball game.
What you mean?
He's the cover of MLB, the show 21.
Oh, you mean like the game?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm not even all the way that mad at that, just because he's an old player. So it's like they don't put. And Kareem probably should be on a game, but you know what I'm saying? He old, like, so they don't really put him like. But if he passed away, God forbid, they probably would put him on the next live or something. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, it's just.
But you're right. He definitely.
It's just
They give him that memorial game type thing.
I don't. That's what I don't want. Stop. This goes for everybody and everything and every aspect of life. Stop giving motherfuckers their flowers when they're not here no more.
You know what annoys me the most?
Because Jackie Robinson died maybe 10 years ago?
No, he just died.
Like recent, right?
No, it was recent.
Yeah, so I'm just like, all them years you couldn't, because they have.
I'm sorry.
I'm thinking
you're
he's
right.
been
You're
dead
right.
for a
Jackie
while.
Robinson's died. God bless him. A while ago, I'm thinking about Hank Aaron.
Yeah,
that
Hank
just recently
Aaron
passed
just
away.
died.
Hank Aaron just passed away. I stand corrected. I apologize.
Which means he'll get a fucking. Oh no, shit. Goddamn, we gotta be better on our shit.
Jackie died a while ago, right?
Jackie died in 1972.
Yeah, no, I'm saying I knew Jackie died a while ago. I'm just saying that Hank Aaron is who I was confusing him with because he just recently died.
Okay, so
and I'm not the baseball guy, man.
I'm fucked up on that because I don't know that baseball fan like that either. But I feel like I should know more about that as Black history.
Yeah, that's true.
Hank Aaron didn't get any of his flowers
Well,
before he passed. When it
He had a
comes
rough
to
one.
like the covers of all this
towards
shit.
the end, they start trying to give him a little love,
But that shit pisses
they
me
beat
off
him
because when you got
he couldn't accept it
when you
then
got
like that.
2K and Madden giving their flowers out when it needs to be, their legend athlete covers are all people still alive usually. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because that's still America's sport, even though football is America's sport. Yeah, baseball is America's pastime.
Right.
They say the American is American as apple pie, not knowing apple pie is not even an American dish.
What kind of dish is it? German or something? Dutch?
It's like French or something.
I could see that.
Hold on.
But it's a merging of culture because when you talk about, I think white American culture, you're basically in essence talking about European
Apple pie
culture.
originated
Like white American culture is definitely a chapter of like European culture.
This is funny. This ties into all this immigrant shit of you motherfucking of white people's ancestry. The reason America has apple pie is because England made apple pie.
It makes sense.
So y'all brought that shit with you.
Right, and thank you.
It made that shit.
Because some of that shit is...
As American as apple pie. That's crazy. When that shit's not even American.
Well,
that shit's England.
They made it American.
They did, but English should come back like, nah, nigga.
What if all the niggas that made the best pies took it with them? Like, nigga, y'all don't even make pies. It's us. Because
sweet potato pie is going straight to the hood. Not even to the hood, to niggas.
Humans are always going to be tribal. So, in England, it was the battle of the haves and the have-nots. And history repeats itself. That's why America's better served to become more multicultural and inclusive, because all of us don't come from that culture. And some of us won't like self-consciously go there. If you look at where America's headed to right now, Thomas Jefferson and them, this is the same reason why they fucking did what they did. Liberty and death and all that other shit. Like, It's like, yo, like, we can't even afford. You niggas are tripping off $15, fam?
Right, yeah. That's real.
Fam, it's 2021. You motherfuckers want to show on Christmas Eve, nigga, new Teslas and Benzes and shit like that, and you're tripping off $15. Like, what?
Yeah, most of us can't even afford to get our wives and husbands
I understand?
And kids and all that shit, that brand new fucking car with the bow on it out front in Christmas time. Like, what the fuck?
About a capitalistic society,
you don't pay us enough to do anything
that doesn't want people
like
to have
that.
no money.
Right.
Like, we could be a big-ass Monaco around here, nigga, where everybody just rich, nigga. Like, it don't have to be. And I hate talking to, like, so-called economists and it's funny because they're never really rich. They're just people that study other people's money and shit.
Yeah,
like,
you're
and the rules that they set. It'd be like, fam, how you gonna tell me that all of us can't be
You
eaten?
ain't accumulated none of this wealth of what you study.
You're not gonna tell me that, like, that $25 can't be the minimum wage in America and everybody would be just fine.
It can.
And you're not gonna tell me
but
that
they're
just
saying
because
that
I'm making $25 an hour, now that milk gotta go to $30.
No, but they're saying
That's
that
bullshit.
making $25 an hour, we gotta print more money and makes our money worthless, which I don't believe.
Our money's
in any
already
of that
worthless,
shit.
fam. The American dollar ain't backed by shit.
Cause that gold y'all talking about.
Rest in peace, alhamdulillah. That's why they killed Gaddafi. because he stored all the gold. When we had nerdy economists telling us that every rapper or athlete that had some gold on was an idiot and was wasting his money. Now you can't watch TV without these motherfuckers trying to buy your gold back from you, because all those markets and shit like that are fragile. They're man-made. I know one thing, nigga, that gold ain't going nowhere. So I'm just saying, fam, like, we just got to do better. Like, it's past just like black people trying to get America to give them their just. They're never giving us that. What I'm saying is that, like, we got to get to the point where it's just like, yo, we all
just level the playing field.
We all need to shit on our congressmen and congresswomen.
So
we all need to set up shop and make sure that this shit is working for us.
Niggas like me and Akeem, we've given up on reparations on that shit. Just
hey, whoa. I ain't gave up on no reparations. These motherfuckers owe us.
They do, but I don't feel like we're gonna see it.
Shit, I do.
Here's my thing. If you're not gonna give us the reparations, level the playing field.
And that's a funny word, because we don't even understand, like, no one, what is exactly the reparations going to be, right? That's an umbrella term. Like, when black people say reparations, it's just like when black people say defund the police. We're not saying that you don't get to have any police officers. What we're saying is that black people
want the same thing Indians
let me finish
get,
this.
or Native Americans get.
No, something similar.
Not the same thing, but like similar terms. Like, nigga, I want money. Like they get.
Like, at the end of the day, don't.
I'm not mad at them. Get your money. I'm just saying, if they can get reparations, I feel like we deserve the same type of setup.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, but it's not like my whole thing was about the reparations. Nigga, you cut me off and messed my point. I can't even. No, it's good, because I'm trying to figure out what I'm saying. You know, niggas blowing trees, and I lost my spot. Keep talking. I'm gonna jump in when I get it.
Don't forget to like, follow, and share the motherfucking stream. I decided that's what we're gonna fill up every dead space with that shit. You're talking about
we were talking about
$25 an hour, milk going up. What was I? What was my point?
No, because I'll finish that. We was jumping around, but I will finish that, man. Like, you even starting to hear, like, real economists say it.
The idea of what our idea of reparations is, because we don't even know what it'll be these days.
So my whole thing is like, and it's like the same thing to the notion. It's nuance, fam. And I hate when people act like this world isn't consistent in nuance. Like, we're not saying get rid of all the police, right? But what black people do understand is that the American police system is grandfathered out of the American slave patrol system. So there's a lot of similarities. That's why when there's large quantities of black folks, they're more policed. And then when you're in areas where there's large quantity of white folks, they're more patrolled. We discussed this on previous episodes. But reparations could be literally like
better education for African Americans, free education for African Americans past high school. That could be reparations for us.
Could be in a form of like, okay, you know what? Maybe it's not normal for every city that's at least 50 to 60% African American to have a 92% police force, white police force. Maybe that's not normal. Maybe we should like balance some of these things. Like, reparations could be just, in a nutshell, just equality.
That's it. Level the playing field.
Like, and
in
the thing
all
is,
ways.
what that means is you got to go through the books. You got to go and, like we were speaking, well, we're going to get to that earlier. I don't want to spoil that. We're going to go over there. But you got to go back in the history and unwrite some of the wrongs. It's going to be annoying. But when white people say, oh, what are you going to want to do? Get rid of the statues of Lincoln next? Yes.
Yeah. What did Lincoln do that was so great?
Just because you all have been taught that Lincoln was a great friend of the Negro. Black people have their own version of history, and you have to understand.
Or Abe Lincoln had slaves, I mean.
Our history isn't in your school books, but it's been passed on through generation through generation. So we're not making new discoveries that, hey, actually.
And speaking of
Thomas Jefferson's widow wasn't a widow at all. She was a little slave girl. We knew that.
Right. And then and like, speaking of like shit that's in textbooks and shit like that, Texas is really trying to turn slavery and to make it look like it was a choice. Yeah.
And it's not just Texas. There's a lot of places that's doing that.
And it's like,
and there's lawsuits going around all around the country. Excuse me to cut you off, I employ all my friends that have children, that if you go to your child's textbook and it's teaching them that Christopher Columbus discovered this nation,
they're already teaching them wrong.
Or it's teaching them that African Americans were indentured. Say, hey, man, You have
Get him out that fucking school.
go, sue the school
Yeah.
and go get paid.
Cause the shit, it's just ridiculous. They keep when it comes to black people and Africans and African American culture and all that shit. They want to rewrite and make the. Cause I get it, white people. I get it. You guys are uncomfortable right now. I understand that shit because the tides are turning,
yeah.
and I understand the uncomfortability of it. And I get it. You want to be like, hold on, before you cut me off, and all of this all shit. I get it that you want to be like, well, I'm not like that. My mom, dad's not like that. Their mom and dad's not like that. Somebody along the lines in most of your guys's, if not all, ancestries owned slaves and were racist. And I'm sorry to say it. I know it makes it a very uncomfortable conversation, but that's real. Just like mine and his ancestors were more than likely slaves. I'm half white, so
That's
I got
my point.
conflicting fucking sides of it. You know what I'm saying? I have one side of me probably owned slaves, and the other side of me probably was a slave at one point. So I get it. The conversation's uncomfortable. You don't want to be like, damn, my family at one point was probably racist pieces of shit, and there is a lot of wrongs that we have to right from back then that are still going on now.
It goes
And
back to that
but
word.
that's the thing about it. It's the uncomfortable conversations and the uncomfortable situations that breed solutions and fucking cures to these
Hey,
fucking problems.
No dad wants to talk to his daughter about sex, but if her mother died from a brain aneurysm when she was fucking 9, and you raised your daughter, and she's about to go to prom,
and you don't have no woman or stepmom or anything in your life to help that, you have to have that uncomfortable conversation, or you're sending them into the world ignorant.
And the thing is, it's unfair at this point because what I see is
And
that, like,
unknowingly ignorant.
I have friends like this. I have friends that because they've been confined to a certain utopia, I'll say, they have aspirations of going to school in the Bay Area. They have aspirations of working in the inner city and doing certain things. And when I speak to them, some of their challenges are all cultural. And I have to explain to them, like, oh, no, that person wasn't being mean to you. Like, it's just the way certain people talk. Like, I remember when I first got to the West Coast as a youngster, I remember
we're way more
being,
blunt than they are.
being weird. I just remember being, like, kind of weirded out by a teacher.
Right.
That I did something stupid, little boy, he was fucking around, I threw something at one of my friends, something got caught, and she pulled me to the side, doing what teachers do. The way she talked to me, like, almost scared me.
Right.
Because it was like a thing, it was like this angelic voice that she put on, and she was talking to me like almost, in my culture, it's like, why is she talking to me like I'm dumb? Like, she's not doing that at all. Now that I'm older, I realize she's not. It's cultural differences, fam.
Dog,
She's not doing that at all. I got homegirls that are white that when their kid does something, they turn around and talk to him the same way that teacher talked to me.
Bro, when I came out here,
that's when I recognize that. Like, oh,
Right.
that's just a cultural thing. The same way they might be like, oh, why did she's mean? She didn't have to talk to him like that. When your grandma would be like, get in this fucking house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, Tyler said that's why they make you fucking turn your books every year, so they could keep rewriting the narrative.
keep rewriting the bullshit. Tyler's right, man. Like, see, now that Tyler took me somewhere. Shout out to you, T. Black and white is elementary. We know that. That's the crust of it. That's the sexy story, right? But fam, think about the lack of inclusion of Asian American students who their culture played a big history in the building of America. Think about
Golden Gate Bridge.
Think
Dog,
about
all that architecture.
Think about the lack of, like, inclusion, the lack of true inclusion of Mexicans, and when you start talking about culture, like the country, the way the country is built.
Because if it wasn't
Like,
for Mexicans, this agriculture and shit that we see, these fucking lettuce and these strawberries we eat and shit.
yeah, in the modern time,
You talk about
because-
hold on, that takes me somewhere. This is crazy. Mexicans took your jobs, right?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll remember this part.
Go ahead, finish.
Americans took your jobs, right? These are jobs nobody's gonna fucking do. I personally, I'm not going to pick watermelon. I'm not gonna pick strawberries. I'm not gonna go any type of farming shit like
But you're
that.
not you're a city boy.
But no, but a lot of these people who say that shit aren't doing it either.
No, see, but I want to be real careful with that because you're right. You're 100% right, but it's nuance to that
They
too.
don't
though.
want that fucking
See,
job.
look.
But these, okay, let's talk about nuances
No,
to
wait,
it.
stop,
Like,
stop. Because you're taking this somewhere else.
Yeah, go ahead,
I'm not
go ahead, my
talking
bad. I'm not
about
trying
any outside immigrants crossing in. I'm not talking about any I'm not talking about none of it. I'm talking about Americans that are already here. I'm talking about motherfuckers that wake up in the morning, go to work, pay these punk ass gas prices that
These
go up for no
taxes
reason,
and all this
pay the
bullshit.
fucking. Nigga, I just bought some gushers for my nephew, and I was like, why the fuck are they so expensive? Like, prove to me that it costs more to make fruit snacks now. Like, some shit shouldn't go up in inflation.
Because all you guys do with candy and fruit snacks is find a way to make it cheaper with cheaper products and nastier shit.
We got a bunch of millionaires in Congress, Democrat, Republican, and Independent. Democrat, Republican, and Independent. You ain't making it to Congress if you ain't got a million, nigga. You just millionaires over. There's big money talkers.
Right.
There's big steppers over there. They talking for the poor people. They're all millionaires. They're fighting over $15. Mm-hmm. You got a Democrat trying to interrupt it and be like, no, maybe we should do 11.
A wage that none of them would ever work for.
Come on, bro. You break the law so you don't have to live off those wages.
None
Y'all
of them.
break the law so your kids can get jobs.
Their kids. Their kids. Well, they won't let their kids work those fucking wages, dog. But we're expected to work less than that.
They're modern day slave wages, and I use the term slave very cautious with my ancestry. They're modern day slave wages. If you do the math, it's no different than a couple of hog straps that they throw on the table and again let you feed your family off of after a hard day's work.
Like, man,
because at the end of the day, to think that anybody with children is gonna survive.
Because let's keep it 100, a livable wage for
$15 an hour, and that's what we're fighting for.
Right.
Dog, when you say the real minimum wage, like, it's embarrassing. Like, the fuck you mean the national minimum wage is under $8?
But in the
richest country in the world.
The crazy shit about that is like a real livable American dream wage, 2 cars in the fucking driveway, owning that house with a white picket fence is $50 an hour plus.
Listen to me. Let me say this. You're right. The way they sell the American dream, to live that way.
And have all them toys and these vacations once a year in Disneyland, Disney World, you have to make $50 an hour.
This is why it's dangerous. This is why this is dangerous.
Come on, man.
This is why this is dangerous for the masses of us, and we all need to get on the same page. It's an international market. So your son could be the best in California. He could be the best in the country. That ain't shit now. He has to be one of the best in the world. It's an international economy, right? Mm-hmm. So the kids in India, China, Asia that aren't caught up in racial discrimination and they're getting the best that their country has to offer, it's a reason why they're flourishing and taking off, and our kids are falling behind. Because they're falling behind because of the trap of politics of trying to move them over and move the money here and move the resources here. Oh, not these kids. Yes, these kids. These kids can get it. Not these kids. And because of that, you're stifling all American kids. Because
you're stifling America.
Privileged American kids are not being taught to compete.
No.
And it's a competitive world. It's a competitive market.
Because if you're already born with the spoon in your mouth, what do you have to compete with?
So with what I'm trying to correlate this with, if the Indonesian government, the Asian Chinese governments, and other governments that our kids are going to compete with around the world, if they're not saddling their students with student loan costs and debt and inflation, if their kids don't have to go pull a rabbit out of their ass just to get a bachelor's degree, they're going to be more enticed to stay in school longer. They're going to be more influenced to find school cool and to be more studious, right? And to explore more things, because they're not setting a mortgage on their future to go explore education. And unfortunately, that's what has happened to the masses of us in the land of the free, right? Is that our kids can dream big, but because of resources and because of lack thereof, and it's not just the poor black kids that used to be slaves anymore. It's not just the poor Mexican kids who got their land took and maybe speak a different language and are being pushed out the economy. It's everybody. It's every American. Like, the fuck you gonna do?
Think about the kid like you, right? That had the dream of playing hoop and all that shit. And you see your options and you're like, either I hoop or I get a fucking meaningless fucking job for the rest of my fucking life.
Fucked up decision
or
to make.
Figure out like that. Think about if the national minimum wage was $30 an hour and your decision was make a livable wage no matter where the fuck I work at, no matter what this degree is. This degree could give me $100 an hour. I don't know yet.
Right.
If my starting is $30 an hour,
I can go further. I can live this dream a little further.
I'm more inclined to further my education and get a regular job than live this dream and hurt myself like millions of American kids do trying to fucking hoop or trying to play football.
Or it's displaced
you know
dreams. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go be the next Beyonce, or I'm gonna go be the next Dr. Dre, or I'm gonna go be the next Allen Iverson or Kobe.
You
Like,
put us all against the fucking
I'm gonna
wall
be the
when
next
our only
Hillary
option,
Clinton or Obama. I'm gonna be the next Jeff Bezos. Like, it's
Right,
like a
you
crapshoot
put
now.
You put us in against the wall when the only option for us to fucking live American dream or be rich and wealthy is to fucking create something or own something or
When
have
most
a
people-
business and have something cracking. When most of us can't even get the capital to start an Amazon.
When most people ultimately don't even want to be rich. Like you said, Dre, most people wouldn't mind having 1 to 2 cars, and that's
Like
a
I
lot.
said,
This is
wealthy-
American standards.
Wealthy, it can mean
We're
anything
talking.
to everybody.
We're talking
dog.
American standards. We're not talking the world standards because, us Americans are a little greedy and more materialistic. Let's just face it. So let's say, like, okay, 1 or 2 cars, meaning because
A boat.
Let's just say, assuming that it's just a 2-parent home. Let's say 3 kids. You want to have multiple transportation so you can
Yep.
get everybody everywhere.
You want to have
Now,
some type of toy so you can
a
go
toy would be
camping or
cool, whether
something.
you got some quads for you
want
and
a
your kids or a camp.
Because they said the American dream is a house you own, white picket fence, 2 cars, a toy, vacations every year somewhere nice, and that's a good American dream. That's living.
To be able to travel and see the world
that's
at your own
living.
pace, right?
Exactly.
Now, go to Great Britain right now, where the lowest, the people, what you consider under the poverty line there. Man, I was watching this story, man, where this couple, they basically they wasn't making fun to be mean, but they was just
Damn,
like,
nigga Tyler said some real shit.
What he say?
America is a third world country with credit.
well,
We
he's
put on
right.
the facade that we're rich.
We're the
and all
richest,
this
like I
shit.
said the other day, we're the richest, poorest people in the world.
Like, there's this
We're the richest poor
facade
people on earth.
America puts on to every other country that we're gonna help you. We're the land that you come here. You could. There's a dude who did a research that said
Right.
what we need to do is stop taking the people from these third world countries, the smartest and good, and come bring them here and teach them everything they need to learn and expect them to go back and enrich their country, because they're not. They're going to stay here where capitalism is real and they can make all this money, when in all actuality you should send small numbers of people to go train them where they're at to be the best. And then you have these hospitals, these great doctors, you have this infrastructure that's built great, because all we're doing is
It depends on what
overpopulating
I
us.
agree with that, but it
But
depends
that's
on what they're coming for.
And I don't mean it's a bad thing. Come to America, do your fucking thing. Fuck this country. I'm not one of those people who don't think you should be. If you can get here, get here. Do what you want to do. If you feel like you're better off here, be better off here. But it does make sense. What he was saying is, if we train you in your own country where you're not gonna leave, we can build your country from the ground up and the inside out, instead of expecting you to come back.
Listen
and
to
do
me,
that.
bro. It's a
Because it's hard to expect
that
somebody
gets
to go
us
back to that shit,
and that
when
takes
they're
us to
here.
a whole nother place. Because look, being a kid from a military family, right?
Right.
Um,
Or not Tyler, Matt.
They
My
take-
bad. Matt said that, not Tyler.
work. They take a lot of us, right? And I appreciate the interactions, fellas. You know what I'm saying? They take a lot of our youth, and they send them all around the world. And instead of using their talents and their courageous efforts to build nations and to further democracy, they don't. They go over there and use they basically pimp out our military, for lack of better words, right? So what happens is imagine a world where you're sending these kids off and they have missions of humanity efforts where, like, they're military, they'll bust your ass if shit go left, but we're going to go over here. We're going to build this up. We're going to help train the police. We're going to help stabilize this unit, and then we out. Right, there's resources still coming.
Right.
Now, if that was America's, almost like a generic Star Force, right? Like,
Yeah.
we just go in and just give good to everybody.
Right.
But we have to start asking ourselves, is that, first off, even realistic? Who in the fuck are we when we live in a country where California has it's the richest state in the country, but it also has the most homeless people. And one of the top billionaires in California could eradicate all the homelessness in the state and still remain a billionaire.
If all the collective 1%,
we have this kind of compassion, to where we're sending
to
young
other
kids
countries,
that only
we do it
want
here.
a college education. They're going into the military, let's face it, because you said you're going to pay for their college, and you're going to offer them a job that's over the minimum wage threshold,
and a
right?
great pension.
You're giving them
A
something.
wonderful pension.
You're giving them something that Microsoft should have to give everybody, right? That
Microsoft does.
That Walmart should have to give everybody.
Yeah, they don't.
That 7-Eleven
They for sure
should
don't.
have to give everybody, right?
You know,
that
Microsoft.
McDonald's. Hold on. That McDonald's should have to give everybody.
Right.
So what they're saying, like, look, offer us your life, and we'll give you sustainability, right?
Yeah.
So you make that choice. You go there, and then to find like situations where like Donald Trump, because of his cahoots with Putin, was allowing, there were hits being taken out on American soldiers by the Russians. Like, they play with these kids like they're Monopoly pieces, and no matter how you cut it, our military men and women only serve the 1% here. And I'll tell you why. Because when women are fighting for their rights, when women were fighting for their rights in this country, the military didn't stand up for them.
Not at all.
Hey, when black people were getting beat up and hosed down in this country, with the current epidemic of black men and women being slaughtered by police with no weapon, where's the military? Where's these men and women that are trained to honor democracy and stand up? One thing I did see, you see a lot of military at the Black Lives Matter and things like that, right?
Not on our side.
No, you did. No, you see, I seen a lot on our side. I seen a lot on our side.
I was at the one in Reno, and niggas was shooting at niggas with tear gas.
I seen a lot of I seen a lot of military come out and men and women come out and support Colin Kaepernick. Now, the military wouldn't do it, but a lot of military men and women did.
Well, because most military men and women understand that they fought for his freedom to say what he fucking said and do what he did.
They overstand it.
Like, that is the literal reason that they sign up.
Right.
Because most Americans sign up to fucking defend their country and the right to be American. And it's the generals and the colonels and all them that are the corrupt ones, because they're the higher ups. They're getting little backhand deals to do what they do and shit like that. If you got more recruitment, you're getting paid more money. You feel what I'm saying? But the ones, most even the older ones were on Kaepernick's side, basically saying, I fought for his right to say everything he says. His kneeling does not offend me in any way, shape, or form, because I fought for him to do that. I fought for him and every one of you the right to do that.
And that sounds great. And like, the thing is like, I know,
like I said, the lower
I know
end,
they feel that way. I know they feel that way. I do. But what do we have in like? Are we having we talking our shit over here?
Right.
So at the end of the day, fam. And shout out. I know it's probably too late for this. Shout out to everybody in the military. I do come from a military family. I sympathize with military.
Well, my dad was in
I understand the plight of military families. I pray for men and women that's in my family in the military abroad to this day.
But the military,
but they don't. No fault of their own. The way it's trained and implemented, they do not service the masses of Americans.
They don't. And the military still fucked up to people of color and women, because you still got that Mexican girl who was killed and just found somewhere. It's
a lot of women
don't know what happened.
Same thing with the black girl with her genitals burned off.
All that shit is still being covered up.
What about when they was looking for the Mexican girl, they found 3 other bodies?
Right, it's fucking ridiculous.
But at the same time, though, we're talking about something, and I don't want to, just to take it somewhere else and be fair. Hey, man, when you start talking about massive amounts of people,
right?
When you start talking about higher chains and fraternal bonds, and if the military has a sexist DNA to it, then it's going to be predatory for women. Right, it's going to be, a little dangerous for women in that way. Unfortunately, I'm not saying that the military has to be perfect. I'm not saying that the men and women of the military or the police departments have to be perfect.
Like, that's just, we're all human at the end of the day.
Unilateral accountability.
Right.
We're talking about if Akeem accidentally in fear shoots someone and kills him, Akeem still has to go to jail and pay the consequences for that. Now, it might be a difference of the degrees of murders. If you can prove one's intent, like, hey,
but I feel like self-defense, you shouldn't.
Right.
Nobody should have to go to jail for self-defense.
Subjective, because
but it has to be real self-defense.
I start something with you. When the thing about self-defense with a lot of counties and different places and arguments is, when does self-defense start? Because if I walk past you and like, look,
You can't be
hold
the
on. If I walk past
antagonist.
you and I'm like, look at this fruity ass nigga, and like you like what you say, and we start having words and it escalates, and then I pull out a gun and shoot you because I'm scared because I feel like you know you're gonna punch me.
I
or
feel
something.
like you got to go to prison for that one. I feel like
that's
that
what
was
I'm saying.
that was a cowardly thing.
That's what
I
I'm
feel
saying.
like if you were the antagonizer, that's on you, nigga. You can't be in fear for your life at that
but then
point.
this is where it gets tricky, Dre,
Because George Zimmerman
but unless
was
it's,
the
if
agitator.
it's not physical, but if it's not physical, how does one? I don't want to use that George Zimmerman example because that's a horrible one for this. But if it's not physical, I'm just throwing shit at the wall, and I say something verbal to you that's disrespectful. Hey man, that's your girl. Hey man, tell her to come suck my dick. And you go off, and we go off, and I'm like, because I want to fight you, and then you shoot me, right? Like, yeah, I was foul. I was the antagonizer. But I got a right to live, nigga, and you don't got a right to kill me because I antagonize. I should never be able to antagonize you and kill me unphysically touching you or harming your family.
That's not self-defense.
I'm just saying that's how the argument
I get
gets
it,
crazy.
but that's not fucking
Self-defense
self-defense.
ain't black and white.
But there needs to be a black and white term,
But
and
what
not
if,
like.
but the thing is, you can argue that that's like with a good lawyer and a good
Yeah,
argument.
but a good lawyer could argue out a lot of shit.
But I'm saying,
but what I'm saying is, in common sense world, which most of us don't live in, you can't be like, "Oh, nigga,
it's a gray area.
suck my dick, nigga."
I can.
But here's what I'm giving you a
go ahead.
scenario. I can't be like, "Nigga, suck my dick." You shoot me just off me telling you suck my dick.
No. But what I'm saying is,
If I tell your girl suck my dick,
you tell me suck right. You do the little thing. You disrespect me.
Right.
And what happens is we tussle a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. And then I end up shooting you. That's where it becomes great because it's just like, yeah.
I don't feel like that's self-defense at that point because you agitated that situation still.
No, I'm saying like
if you were the other dude,
yeah,
okay.
So that you tell me my girl to suck your dick, whatever. Me and you get into a little tussle, and then I end up shooting you in the toe. Let's say your ass is strong, you beat my ass. Right?
Well, okay.
But
here's
I pull
the thing.
out the gun because I'm losing, and I'm like, damn, this ain't getting me. And I shoot you, and I feel in my heart, nigga, I'm like, I'm defending myself, really, because you started this shit, because you said to my girl to suck my dick, and I fell for the bait and allowed that to make us start fighting. As corny as it sounds,
that is a very gray area where I see.
what
I
I'm
feel
saying?
like
That's the
both.
only thing I was
I
talking
feel
about.
like both sides got to get in trouble for that.
So then they got to go to jail for a couple years for manslaughter.
Yeah.
Because the other one gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the other one ain't gone, if he just get injured,
his ass got to go. They both going to jail.
Yeah,
because
you both contributed to a almost deadly situation or a deadly situation.
You know what I would do?
Was it premeditated to call it murder?
No.
No.
Right. You know what I
because
would
you
do?
were
Just
minding
real
your
quick.
own business and somebody said some slick shit.
On some funny shit, what I would do, I know this will never happen. I'd be like, yo, you either say if they both survive.
Right.
This is what y'all gonna do. Y'all either both going for a 3 to 5.
Or you gonna fade?
No. Or you just gotta sign that it's over. You gonna let it go. Like the one that got shot. Like it's over.
Yeah, you can't. If you retaliate, it's premeditated murder
you know what I'm
one.
saying?
Nigga.
You going to jail out the books.
It's
nigga.
murder one,
no
nigga.
Trial,
We're
nigga.
not
We
right.
just sending you, nigga.
And
Like,
we're put death penalty because
right.
nigga,
It's
that
over.
was super premeditated.
Yeah, it's over. Like you going under. Like, cause remember how we were saying about domestic
But that's
violence?
yeah.
If every woman that had a domestic violence case, if the judge was like, yo, go get the top 5 men in your life to care about you, and they got 5 minutes each with him.
Or once.
Or collectively.
Jump this nigga.
No, they collectively have 5 minutes. So it's 5 minutes for each man in the room.
So 25 minutes.
There you go.
Ass whooping
Max
at
25
once.
minutes. It could be 15 minutes. However many men that
So
come.
these niggas get tired.
Because you might just have 2 big brothers, nigga. That's all they need. You know what I'm saying? We about
Oh,
to
they
smash
just
them.
was waiting.
Right. But since it's just 2 of y'all only get 10 minutes with them.
That's fine.
You know what I'm
Them
saying?
Niggas gonna be like,
Come on, fam.
Niggas a
You might
word.
just have one dad or something. But whatever. Like, but that it don't gotta be blood family. It's just 5. You get up to 5 men that care about you.
I feel like certain situations.
Nigga, domestic violence
But here's
will
the
drop.
thing. I feel like certain situations, both sides can be wrong.
Yeah, in domestic violence.
In any.
Any scenario. Yeah, no, you're right.
In any assault,
Well,
any murder,
in those situations,
anything.
then it's just
Because
nigga,
think
y'all
about
both
it.
wrong.
Okay, so say this. Say I shot you, right?
Right.
And you came back and killed me.
Right.
That's a fucking consequence of something I did that led up to the situation that we're both
Right, but this is
wrong.
where it gets crazy though.
That's
on
what
that.
I mean.
This is where it gets crazy on that.
I'm not saying self-defense, but I'm saying in that situation.
Yeah, because that technically wouldn't be self-defense.
Wrong.
But on the books, that wouldn't technically be
No, I'm not
self-defense
talking
in my
self-defense,
part.
but I'm not saying
But
self-defense.
it should be self-defense.
I'm saying
though.
my point with two people.
No, I get what
be
you're saying.
wrong.
No, I get what you're saying.
Like if
I
we did
got
some
you.
foul shit to each other,
No, I'm
one
there.
of us end up dead.
I got you. But what
We're
I'm
both
saying is,
wrong.
but what I'm saying, this is another thing. This is another thing that I think a lot of people don't appreciate about the law, and it's tricky, is because, fam,
It wasn't written for us.
if you like you said, you pop me, boom. I don't get no credit for like being damaged psychologically. Like, yo, this motherfucker gonna kill me again. I'm scared. Every time I hear a pop, nigga, I'm looking. Every time I see a light skinned nigga with a hat and some glasses, nigga, I'm looking. Like, and then fuck that, nigga. It ain't enough room for both of us, nigga. I gotta get him before he get me again. And I shoot you and you drop. I'm like, bro, like I shouldn't be able to. This should be a gray area sentence for a nigga. Like, I gotta go to jail, but you can't wash me, judge. Like, this nigga shot me. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like Boosie said, I can't own a pistol, but I just got shot. I think that should like knock that out. I should be able to own a gun.
I get that,
now.
but here's the thing: it's
Some
like,
shit is common sense. Like,
it's like
if I was a lion,
right,
and you attacked me,
right.
every fucking
In the
body from
laws
National
of
Geographic
jungle,
will start
yeah.
following me. Like, hey, when he get better, you know it's on.
You know he fucking him
Follow
up.
that nigga. He know he's going to. He got to take him out. Like, I mean,
That's real, but we're human. We don't get to live by the law of the jungle.
yeah, I know. That's crazy though.
Because me and you might not be here right now if the law of the jungle existed. If you just knock niggas' noodles off,
Right.
just as nigga kill or be killed, survival of the fittest.
Unfortunately, in some areas, it's like that, my guy. It seems like it.
No, but I'm saying with no jail
No,
time.
but I know. I
like
feel
I'm
you.
just talking like it's
Like that
purge
old, like when
every
they was
day.
doing shit out here in Nevada with the old duels, nigga.
Right.
Like, yo, nigga, me and you outside, duel.
And you can't even bitch out or you get shot still.
That's wild, my nigga.
You can't say no or you get.
And you know what's
you gonna
crazy?
get
They
popped,
was
nigga.
always at the saloon, at the bar and shit. So now imagine you faded. You got the little chick, you know what I'm saying? You trying to entertain and dude
somebody here fresh.
and that nigga just got there, nigga. And he see you like, oh, that nigga leaning. And I want to get at her. Hey, my guy.
There might have been rules back
They
then.
just go
against
start
that.
something though. But you know, it's always bendable rules. Like you go start some shit, nigga, and now you want to duel, and I'm over here like, cause dog, look it up. In Seattle right now, they still have a combat law that says
Dueling.
that if me and you at the bar,
Right.
and we have a disagreement and we start fighting, it's only I think against the law if we're fight inside. But like if the bar people and all the culture there, like the bouncers and stuff, they ain't tripping off you fighting. They're not breaking it up. It's all outside. So you kind of a bitch if you fighting me inside and then don't want to go outside.
Right. Okay.
That's the culture there in Seattle. So like,
Okay.
you can look this up on YouTube, fam.
Nah,
It
you
was a
lived in
UFC
Seattle.
fighter.
I'm gonna take your word for it.
It was a UFC fighter
Mm.
that on his all time he would dress up like a superhero. Shout out to him. And then like he would just cruise the bar scene and niggas that was acting like assholes, being dicks.
Beat they ass. Like
Nigga,
come
he'd
outside.
get out on them nigga and beat their ass. Like, and that was just what he did. Like, and it wasn't against the law in Seattle. It's not against the law. So they got all these videos on YouTube of cats in
So
Seattle.
if I tell you to
drunk as
come
shit,
outside
fighting,
and I beat your ass outside, I ain't got to worry about going to jail.
Son, most of the videos, the police are there. They're kind of like refereeing it, like to make sure you don't do
somebody
no crazy
doesn't
shit.
get extra
Yeah,
fucked
so
up.
if I
Okay.
beat your ass and now
It's
I'm
over,
walking off
we're
with my
breaking
girl,
it
you
up,
can't
yeah.
come hit me with a pole or something. Like, I thought that shit was bananas.
That's
when I
fly,
seen it,
though.
bro.
That's
but I was
real.
like, damn. But I always say this about Seattle. Shout out to Seattle. One of the most respectful, calm, cool, collected places I've ever been in my life. Like, it's so serene and cerebral there. Like, you walk down the street, son, and everybody, oh, how you doing? Or they don't fuck with you or say nothing at all. And I wonder how much of that, like, culture or that, like, those type of laws are ingrained. Because I know Seattle used to be wild back in the day, they said.
It had to have been with them type of laws.
Yeah,
nigga.
bro, that's or you know,
Because you know that all that did
that
was
Northwest period.
You know all that did was downgraded from niggas being able to shoot niggas outside.
That's it. Oh, we don't do the gun shit no more. All right, well, y'all gotta fight, man. And I just think that's crazy because it just makes people a little bit more respectful. It's just like, you know, in certain like dangerous neighborhoods, people are a little bit more respectful.
Hey, so anybody listening to this, don't go to Seattle thinking you just.
Hey, the shit's dope, man.
Niggas,
Look that shit
niggas
up on
gonna
YouTube.
go outside ready to. Oh,
Hey,
you
look
gonna
that
go
shit up on
outside?
YouTube.
All right,
I thought it was funny, man. Like, that's crazy.
Shit.
You know?
What we got next, bro? We done went
Oh yeah.
off the
rails. It'd be like that. Hey, but all let's get to some funny shit, man. Let's get to
I
some of this
love getting
modern
some
day
funny
bullshit.
shit.
We didn't talk a little heavy, man. We don't want to get too boring. Uh, but my son and Whack 100 are in a spat. You remember what the spat was about?
It was about
Ba-
something about like
Basically, Whack 100. Um,
this is his story.
I
So
guess
I'm trying to
allegedly he's
remember.
joking around. Whack 100 allegedly said that he was joking.
Niggas love saying they joking when they
said
get.
that he was jokingly playing around with my son when he sent out the text.
Oh, the
Basically
George Floyd joint.
accusing him of being
Yeah.
a fraud and basically saying that we need to put pressure on him and find out what's going on with George Floyd. So when I first heard the shit, I thought it was asinine because I'm like, my son is a rapper slash activist who has no real political power. Why would he know? And like, how would he? Why would you hold my son responsible for that?
Whack 100.
And it's not something to joke about. George Floyd has children, family that's still grieving and going through this tragedy.
The crazy thing is like, okay,
Why even?
according to my son, is like Whack talked to him like a couple days prior to my son putting out what he put out, and never asked anything about George Floyd, but all of a sudden want to send jabs, and then when he comes online and is like, nigga, I got 5 minutes to catch a fade.
Yeah, what kind
with
of
you.
weird shit? Well,
I'm in LA right now.
We skipping. The first thing he said was he came back and was like, he explained it like, yo, I just was with you last week.
Right, you're not.
You was just offering me studio
you
time
ain't
and
yeah.
a videographer to shoot my video
You
because
ain't had
I was
none of
here in
this.
your
You
city.
didn't have none of this energy.
You ain't had none of this energy. You ain't bring none of this
He's
shit
like,
up.
I'm in LA right now.
I would have told. He was telling him, I would have told you, like, if you asked me then. But he started. Then my son was really handling this shit like an adult. I could
Right.
tell he was annoyed because he, originally is a street dude. But he was like, he started explaining to his knowledge what was going on with the George Floyd case and like where we are. Where
That
right now we're just
nigga-
about to start trial.
okay,
Excuse me, and stuff like that.
Whack 100 is such a fucking cornball to me now, dog. Like, it's you said it earlier. Like, as much as you want to admire the nigga, he then turns around and does some cornball shit. It's like
I didn't say no. I said
was-
every time he does something
does
that I
something
respect.
that you respect. Sorry,
I like-
sorry, not
he'll
admire.
turn
Admire
around
him. It sounds like
and,
dicky.
do-
No, I apologize.
And I'll
Pause.
say this, you know how I feel about it. Before, not to cut you off, I'm getting right back to you. I think the reason why I feel like that is because I'm not from LA, and I'm not. Although I'm versed in it, I know it. I'm not of gang culture.
Yeah, we didn't.
So sometimes
gangbang.
Wax get real heavy on the Pyru set rules, and that's what maybe kind of like sets it aside. But I just didn't understand, and I'm not gonna step on your shit. I just don't understand why. If you was even gonna throw a jab at my son, why throw a jab? Like, why play with George Floyd's name at this time?
He's a cornball, dog. Like, I'm now to the point where like you're 6'9", and that's why you defend him so much. You're not a snitch, but you're a fucking troll on the level of 6'9" shit. And that's why why you defend this nigga like you did when we talked about in the last episode. It's all like starting to click and make sense. You're a fucking cornball. Every time, like I said, like I started giving him some bail because some shit you had said and explained to me, and I started researching. I was like, okay, I'll give him some bail for the shit that he does and shit like that. He's still a reputable nigga.
Right.
But then you come and you do some shit like this. Like, there's other ways to find out what the fuck is going on with the George Floyd case. You're a fucking millionaire, dog. You have access to information none of us do. You have lawyers that you can contact that could get you information about that case that we can't do.
If we talking street code and just being of a certain cloth, bro, you had his number. Y'all obviously was just linking. Y'all just linked.
Right, yeah, and you had the nigga number.
Just hit him, and so that brings me to it. So that's where I guess my son called it out like, yo, that shit's corny. I don't know what kind of weird shit he's on.
Lack of a better word, it's corny, dog.
Right?
It's
like,
corny
I
as
get
shit.
it. So that's when Wack got into the gangster mode. He like, yo, nigga, basically shot the message to him that you don't want to play. I was just playing with you, but you don't want to, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to take it somewhere. And the thing is, I don't like bullies. So I feel like we all black people, we all come from a certain element.
I don't like passive aggressive little
So,
fuck boys either
we
who
don't
do that.
so I'm
Oh,
just-
I was just joking shit when somebody fucking press you and check your temperature really.
what I'm saying is, like, I don't like bullies that like. Look, if you're a gangster, be a gangster. That's cool. But like, what does that got to? I get it, but I just, like, I don't know. I just don't know. Like, I think that sometimes niggas pick and choose who they play gangster with, nigga, and who they try to like police
Right.
in the industry, and who they try to police in this culture. And I know my son's background a little bit. I'm familiar with Wax's background. I think they both two reputable dudes that represent a certain cloth, and I was highly surprised that I wasn't surprised that my son took it there, because once my son on the second get back when Wack responded, Wack kind of insinuated like, nigga, you don't want it with me. You're a little nigga. I beat you up. That's kind of how he came at him. Like, oh, well, this could take it somewhere you don't want it to go. And then he's like, especially if you're still in L.A., right? Threat. That's a threat loosely.
This nigga put the video.
So-
I'm in L.A.
So he puts the joint out like, yo, like, nigga, we could shoot a fair one if that's what you want. Because if you coming at the dude with that type of energy, it's kind of like, well, what else do you want, bro?
Right.
Like, if you're not going to say, my bad, I was just playing, and respect the fact that he wasn't letting you play with his name like that and keep it pushing,
That's
then-
different.
then
We'll take
yeah.
you as your word. Like,
take it
okay,
at
well,
word.
maybe
You
then
was
you
just
really
playing,
was
nigga, my
playing,
bad.
all right.
We was
But
just
once you
kicking.
take it, I was playing. Oh, but if you want
but
to
if you
do
wanna
some
take it
extra,
there-
I know now. No,
Right,
you
we
weren't
all
playing.
from the same place,
and now
my
this
guy.
nigga's checking
So,
your temperature,
he's
and
like,
you don't
fuck
want
it.
to seem like you a punk.
All right, well, fuck it. He like, okay, well, we all from that. So
What's up?
when
Like,
when the revolutionary backpack rapper that is more known for activism says, hey, I mean, we still men, we can shoot the fair one. I got 5 minutes for you.
right.
Hey, there's no more talking, because that's the very same thing that your old ass was just getting at Meek Mill about. You said that Meek was supposed to either get at 6ix9ine when he seen him or leave him the fuck alone. That's why niggas are saying that he out there, that he took up for 6ix9ine. It's like, yo, you know what this nigga's about, which I respect it. You know what this nigga's about. You say he a lame. You say he's fake. He fugazi. He a snitch. Why are you talking to him?
Right, dog. That don't make no sense.
No comments. No conversation. Lil Durk don't go back and forth with him. Nobody else goes back and forth with him. They got problems with that's really of that cloth. So like, leave it alone. You shouldn't even talk about 6ix9ine.
Dog, I had to make a choice to not fuck with somebody like a business relationship, because you remember that client I told you got killed to his son's birthday party, right?
Damn, you just took us to a whole nother place. Go ahead. Go ahead. Run that. You got to.
What the fuck?
You kind of loosely told me, but we never really got into it.
So I found out one of my other clients is part of the gang that did it. So I had to make the decision to cut a tie off.
I mean, did he do it, or just was he gang affiliated with some niggas that did it?
He's very close to what happened and was online. Like, imagine getting killed at your son's first birthday party and your blood being on your son. I had to make a decision. Like, I can't fuck with you.
Niggas be on demon time, bro.
But no, I was just going across to what you were saying about, like, sometimes you can't, if you're not fucking with something and you don't stand for what that person stands for, how do you still fuck with that person? I don't stand for what you did to this person
Well,
I
if you
fucked
think
with.
that 5 motherfuckers stand next to each other and they stand for the same thing just because they call each other bros and got similar like likings. I remember my big brother Rob, aka
No, but
Sick With It. Hold
the
on.
client,
I
I'm
remember
telling
he
you
told me
about
one
what he
day-
said was
No,
foul, bro.
no, listen to me. I get it, but that's the culture now in gang culture.
Right.
So it is what it is. Like, I'm not saying it to your man's, rest in peace to him. What I'm saying is that, like, that's what it is now in gang culture. Right now, if one of these niggas catch you slipping and you get popped and you get killed in front of your son, oh, that's clout now.
Nah, but
Like, that's what they own now.
we're
They
taking
smoking
it-
on each other.
Yeah.
They nigga pissing on each other's grave. They going to niggas burial sites and taking pictures and shit.
But we're taking it further than what I was just going along with your point. Like, if you don't fuck with a certain thing, or if somebody's a snitch and all this extra shit, how are you still vouching for and fucking with
I think
said
that
person?
wise people understand that there is no true collectivism. Like, at the end of the day, bro, like, we not all gonna be about the same shit. What you eat don't make me shit. But we
I'm
can
just
get.
saying,
But I'm just saying.
if
but
you're
we,
fucking
but we can
Pyru
get money together.
blood, or you know what I'm saying.
Well, I don't speak. What no matter what gang it is, I don't speak on this gang shit because I ain't no gangster like that. I don't care about that gang culture. Leave me alone. I leave them alone, right? But what I'm saying is that like, if you're a person that fancies yourself to the point of some kind of street code where it's just like, oh, death to all rats, that's okay. You could be that person.
Right.
And when someone sees you moving a certain way, they can call you a hypocrite. Like, man, I thought you was, because you put yourself out there like that.
Right.
That's the whole point of this.
Right.
Like what Wack 100 was saying to Meek Mill is, yo, little nigga, I'm really about this street shit. Basically saying you're not about this street shit like I am.
Right.
And what I'm saying based on my street morals is that you're supposed to run up on that nigga, punch him in the face. I don't give a fuck who's with him.
Right.
And take what happens after it. Or you're not supposed to fuck with him at all, which I kind of respect that stance, right?
Right.
Now I'm saying fast forward not even a month later.
2 weeks.
You call out.
No,
a
not
man.
even 2 weeks. We talked about
Right.
this like last
You
week.
call the man's out, nigga, calling him a fake. But the thing is, you backslide. You said you was playing, but then you basically got at the nigga like, nigga, you ain't trying to take it there though, nigga. If I wasn't playing, right? But then he responded, I think, in a way that you didn't calculate.
Yeah.
Which was not like, bro, we brothers, man. It's
You thought that
different
nigga
time
was
in
a
the
bitch
world.
ass
We
nigga, and
supposed
he
to-
wasn't.
And that nigga was like, well, nigga, we can do 5, nigga. And now it's a whole bunch of, oh, well, I'm going to tell people why you really got arrested. I know why my son got arrested. The nigga did 5-7 years, nigga, for his mans because he didn't snitch and
Right.
cost himself his music career.
Right.
And everybody in the
talking
tri-state
about
area know that.
The opposite of a 6ix9ine. And that's the nigga you going at?
I'm talking about the hypocrisy. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
This is the
Like,
exact same thing that you're accusing Meek of doing and saying he
Right.
handled it wrong. So I'm just like, bro, not that I'm advocating for you niggas to fight, but unless you about to run up on that nigga, my son, and punch him,
shut
and start
the fuck
fighting
up.
him, don't say his name.
Exact. Shut the fuck up, period.
It don't matter why he got arrested. It don't matter if he ain't moving to a certain. It don't matter if he ain't as gangster as you.
He never claimed to be.
Take your own advice, my G.
Right.
Just don't say nothing to him.
Yeah.
And I like Wack. Pause.
Wack is just well, I've always found Wack to be a cornball.
If you do the whole, like, this is my thing.
No.
I thought so,
I'm
too.
not saying his street reputability. I'm
But,
just saying
yeah.
the troll shit he does. Like and I don't know a lot about Wack outside of just being a manager and the troll shit. Now, if he's hella reputable, and I'm sure he is, and
But-
I'm not taking no stripes from the man. I'm just saying, as far as like what I know about you, bro,
He ate.
he did.
That's all I was saying. Like,
Right.
the respect is there. I know what you come from, right?
Right.
I know what you allegedly come from, and I know what that entails to an extent. So the fact that Wack is where he is now, that's where I study Wack. Is like, well, this nigga really kind of smooth bullied himself in the game. Like, there's not a lot of people that'll give him that credit and be like, yo, Wack kind of like bullied himself in the game. But he you could
He
tell
did, though.
he was around Suge and them, and he took certain keys from here and there, and he's definitely reputable. When I seen Wack in New York moving where he was moving, I knew that like you're respectful, nigga, because you checked in to be there.
Yeah, exactly. So it's niggas that talk like that, like you still gotta
But-
check in too, bro.
But
There's
no,
still
but the
levels.
thing is, that's where I'll be fair to Wack.
Right.
Because that's the energy he pulled. He's an older nigga. He's like, yo, nigga, you come to LA, nigga, you better tap in. Because if not, and something happened to you, that's your fault.
Right.
Nigga, I'm watching the little documentary I'm telling you about. You got niggas like Trick and Big U and Bimmy, Deb, and motherfuckers like, these is real ex-kingpins. And they talking about like, yeah, man, you know, because when I go over there, I check in with my boy, and I check in over here. And then they start laughing about that, like, why these young niggas be tripping off, like, checking in? Like, and Big U is like, I just don't think they like the way it sounds. But they don't understand that, like, the very niggas that get your chain back for you every time you get your chain
These are
robbed
niggas you check in with.
are niggas that check in with other niggas.
Right. Yeah.
That's how they got your chain back.
Right.
The fuck is wrong with y'all?
Yeah. That's real. Yeah. Cause a nigga, if his niggas in his
How
hood
you think
didn't
Jay
take
Prince
your
got that chain back from New York City?
Right.
Ain't nobody in New York scared of Jay Prince. Niggas gangsters in New York too, nigga with money, right? But you remember he shouted out all the niggas, all the players he know, all the big players he know in New York that got real street ties, nigga, in the industry. He shouted them out. To the untrained eye, to niggas that don't know this shit, they was like, oh, he dry snitching. Oh, he's putting their name, he making them hot. No, he's not. He knows what he's doing.
Right.
And they all got back to him like, what's up, big homie?
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, man, I personally have a Rap-A-Lot chain floating the streets of New York.
Need that.
I get love in New York. Y'all get love in Texas, nigga. I love you niggas. You niggas love me. We made a lot of money together and kept each other safe. I need that chain back. Yes, the little nigga wearing the chain was a goofball and wrong. I'm going to handle that. That's in-house, nigga.
Yeah.
I'll check
But
my
let
little
me,
nigga.
let me handle
But I need that chain back, right? Now, the ass whooping he got, nigga, the $150 and all that shit, we get it. That's a little overboard. It should have been a little more respect there. But these young niggas is wild, and that could have happened anywhere.
Right.
We understand that. But that chain, that represents me and my family.
Right.
I need that chain back, fam. And respectfully, not only did he get the chain back, but, and I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to fuck it up. And the nigga's hot, dog. It's a nigga from, I want to say from the Bronx. But he was the shot caller and them little crew niggas that did the wild shit. He held it down, got the chain back. Next thing you know, he out in Houston, nigga, with Rap-A-Lot and they signed the deal. That's gangster, nigga. That's real gangster shit.
Right,
That's what gangsters do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a way to move in this shit. And my only thing is being a fan of seeing Wack kind of like as a just a nigga that people was accusing of not even really being game's manager.
Mm-hmm.
And being a dude that just, you barely, out of nowhere, you just start seeing him and, you didn't know how to read him, right? He's a little older than a dude that just pop up on the internet, but I'm not new to this, so I know that he got a whole nother life. And I know that the shit that he was saying, he had to be somebody, nigga, because you're saying shit and representing a gang that's infamous, and you're doing it a lot.
Yeah, and ain't nobody checked you.
And ain't nobody like, so you must be something to that, right?
Right.
So then and as I start seeing him, I start noticing the business moves he was making. He be making.
No, I'm not saying that Wack's not a smart
No,
businessman.
we agree more than we disagree. Because
Yeah.
what I'm getting to is that at my age now, and like I said, I'm not of gang politics.
Right.
So that has a lot to do with it.
Right.
I'm like, bro, you in there now.
Yeah.
Relax. Now, one thing I did say that this one made was like, man, Wax might be cooler than we thought. Because, like, I was on Clubhouse, and I'm listening to him, and they just having a regular real nigga conversation about the hottest rappers from Compton and who's the top MCs from Compton, and Game is on there talking this shit like, man, Kendrick, my little nigga. At the end of the day, anybody from Compton, I'll eat their ass up. It's
Right.
hip-hop going on, nigga. I'm in there. I'm listening like, yo, this hard.
Yeah.
Right? And Wack was making a comment, and he's talking, and everybody's listening and shit. And he starts making a reference to, like, basically L.A. gang culture. He's like, oh, see, because nigga in the street, because like, he starts talking that gang shit. And it was funny because right when my stomach turned, like, oh, man, I don't understand this part. Like, let's just keep it hip-hop.
Right.
So that all of us could play. When you keep it hip-hop, all of us got a seat at the table.
Yeah, when you
But
take
when
it
you
to
start
gang
talking
culture,
LA gang culture,
right?
and
We all can't sit at the
niggas
table.
from Chicago and DC accountable for that. That's when we gonna get divisive because they like, nigga, fuck LA because I'm not from LA.
Right.
They gonna be like, nigga, fuck New York. I'm not from New York.
Yeah, that's
right?
real.
So that's where my mind started going. But Wack did something cool because the way you view him and the way his image is and shit, I thought it was gonna go left, fam. Because they was like, he starts going off, and then like it was Royce the 5'9". That nigga Royce was like, nigga, nah, hold on, Wack, I'm not letting you get that shit off. Like, nigga, we ain't in LA, nigga, this ain't the set. Like,
right.
And all them niggas started laughing. So what it did for me is it reassured that, oh, Wack's that dude. He's that nigga that that's gang all the time.
Right.
And he's cool as fuck, smart as fuck, got a
Right.
dope personality. But every once in a while, you got to remind that nigga, yo, we ain't on the front lines, bro. That's not gang. This ain't gang. Like, and once I put it in that perspective, I was like, I know who Wack is. And that's why he come off. And he's older, so he don't know how to play the internet game.
Nah, he's just extra troll.
I'm big on that.
Right.
Meek Mill, I love that nigga. Meek is cool as fuck. He a fresh to death nigga. But Meek is from more our generation. So Meek ain't really good on the internet and playing the internet game. So he play himself a little bit when he like jump out there and want to play.
He kind of plays himself a little too much.
That's the perception. Because why is he playing himself? Because he's doing too much internet shit.
Yeah, that's
and
it. That's what I mean.
Internet nigga.
That's what I mean. Where he's playing himself, he's just on the
you can
internet
tell,
too
he's
much.
not even comfortable on the internet. Like he comes off like your friend that be on the internet that one time and be like, nigga, I ain't no internet nigga, but I'll get.
But
and you be like, bro, put your phone down. We know.
Calm down, dog.
Right?
We know.
So Meek comes off like that, and so now when you go into academics' world,
right.
Ack been doing this shit, nigga. He granddaddy.
Yeah, Ack's
Like,
in there.
Nigga, you nigga, Ack can't. beats you in coolness. Like Act probably got as much money as you, like he said, or somewhere close enough to where he could play. I don't know. I don't count niggas' pockets.
Right.
But y'all can both pull up in whips and buy cars and the funnies, right? But when you play with him as a chat nigga, and he the king of the chat niggas,
right?
Nigga, you can roast this nigga on the internet. The internet ain't giving you that. That's his world.
Yeah, that's real.
Just like he can kill you. He can say the hottest line in a battle. Nigga, we're not giving him that. Meek washed you, nigga.
Washed you, nigga.
Fuck out of here. I don't give a fuck what you said, Ack.
Right.
You ain't beating Meek in a battle, nigga.
Right, yeah.
The fucking Meek is wrong, nigga. We taking him in a battle.
Nah, yeah.
But when Meek try to, like, check this nigga on the internet or even get on Chat House, like, and talk to him, like, he don't understand that Ack has all the protection he needs because he knows, nigga. Meek, you don't got to tell me that I wouldn't talk to you like this if you wasn't in my face. If you was in my face. I know that.
I know that.
I move my life like that.
Right, yeah, because he knows, like, but I
that
might
don't
say
even
this
hurt
shit,
my
but I'm not going to say
nigga,
it
not
to
only
you.
does that not hurt my ego, it don't even hurt my brand, dog.
Don't hurt his rep, nothing.
It boosts my brand.
Because
I'm
they
even
know-
having this conversation with you.
Because they know this is who I am.
This is who I am, fam.
So my fans is like, oh,
he
this
say,
is
like
what
nigga
Ack
say,
is
like
doing.
he say, I'm pussy.
I'm
I'm
pussy,
not.
yep.
I'm not trying to. My fans, I got 5 million subscribers strong. All know I'm pussy. They all know I'm telling the police. They all know that. Like, I don't have to. You can't win with me in a tough guy thing.
Hold on, I got a question. Are you pussy? Are you telling?
Nah, it depends, man. It depends, bro. It depends, my guy. Hey, Akeem, you know, one thing, once I got past 35,
Right.
I started liking this life shit and this freedom shit,
I
bro.
start
Like,
liking. That's nothing wrong
fam,
with liking the life,
I started
bro.
developing my habits. I like a coffee in a certain way
And
in the
smoking
morning.
weed.
You can't get the coffee I like to drink in the morning in jail, fam.
And you can't smoke no weed.
I can't
in jail.
smoke no weed in jail. Not the way I like to smoke. And I can't get no pussy.
None.
I don't know, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I tell, hey, niggas know. And the thing is, like we discussed before, when I was young and did things and moved around and it came to that time, held it down.
Right, but right
held
now,
it down. I'm solid.
Not right now.
I'm documented. I'm solid. Shout out to my dudes.
30-something-year-old Akeem.
37, Keem? I like watching my little nephew learn new words and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I like jumping.
He didn't do that last week.
I like jumping on the laptop and watching podcasts and pulling up here on,
like
on Monday
you know what I'm
and
saying?
Wednesday doing
I might not
podcasts
even
and
get to watch
talk
Joe
my
Budden.
shit.
I'm gonna get the JBP. I don't know. I get to
Where?
listen to my nigga Joe Budden.
Where you gonna
jail.
get the Joe Budden in jail?
Come on, fam.
Right.
I can't do that.
We can't do no podcast no more on our own.
What's going on, bro? Like, I don't want to do like. So, what are you putting me in a situation for? Like, and that's really what nigga.
All right, hold on. I got a question. Okay. So your man's, you know, he did the murder, everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's not really your man's, but you know him. Y'all look alike, dreads, same height, same build. Somebody says they saw you. You know how that go. You know for a fact
it was him.
it was him. Like, you can give up evidence.
Yeah, hurry up and answer the question so I can answer this shit.
Would you do it?
Bro, yes. Look, let me tell you something, fam. I'm
not laughing because you're
Let me tell
wrong.
you
I'm
something,
just
fam.
laughing because could you
Give a
speed up your
fuck,
question?
nigga.
Like, I
Yeah,
already know
let
my
me help you
answer.
with this, nigga. Yes, nigga. Let me tell you why. And this is important, bro. And if any young person scrolling through this hears my voice that knows me, understand this. I'm not advocating snitch culture. I'm not saying, oh, yo, go tell on somebody.
Right.
Because especially in black culture, black America, growing up in the household, they don't condone that shit. Snitches got black slaves that were trying to liberate our ancestors killed.
So you're saying you're going to be on the first 48 with the donut and the soda?
What I'm saying is snitches got our ancestors killed. In our culture, it's brought into it. The square fam, the square mom and dad that go to church every Sunday, when you get to telling on your brother and shit, be like, boy, stop snitching.
Stop
Nobody
fucking
like a tattletale.
telling,
Like,
goddamn.
stop telling on him. I don't care.
Tattletelling.
I know he's wrong.
That's
And
not the point.
Damn it.
That's not the point.
Now I'm going on you because you keep telling on him.
I'm talking to you.
God damn
We
it,
ain't
shut
talking
up.
about him
Nigga,
right now.
I didn't heard pastors tell their kids that.
Right.
So that's part of our culture. Now, this is where it gets tricky. A nigga that resembles me knows he resembles me, and we supposed to be mans. We loose mans though, right? And he go pop somebody. He chilling at his shorty house like, She like, yeah, they arrested somebody that shot that dude. He like, oh, word? Yeah, turn on the news. And he see the picture, right? He see the name.
Nah, he ain't even your man. Y'all just like know,
We know each other.
Y'all know,
right?
like y'all
and he
been
see that.
passing
So that's
and
what I
shit
said.
like
He's
that.
not even my man.
Okay.
He see that. Fam, survival, self-preservation is the number one rule of the law land.
Cause you know damn well he
Nigga,
ain't turning himself
If
in.
he's not
He's
on
like,
the
oh,
phone
yeah, it's
or at
good.
the precinct like, damn, I got away with this shit, but y'all got I know that guy, man. It ain't him. Which we know that's not gonna happen.
It's not. And they
Why
get
in the
riding
fuck?
up in the sunset.
Why in the holy fuck would anybody expect a man, woman, cat, or dog to turn around and be like, oh, well, I ain't no snitch. So I know these motherfuckers got me booked on a murder and I didn't do it. And it's looking like a solvable case because I fit the description and the motherfucker that seen the person, all he got is a loose description.
Right.
You pull a nigga in there that's about the same height, same skin tone with the same length hair and say he the one that did it, that's him. It was like, yeah, okay, well, shit,
Dog,
I don't care. Now you're in a situation of this nigga could come after the fact and be like, man, I couldn't sleep with myself.
So,
man.
I mean,
he didn't do it.
So
he didn't do it.
so,
Hold on, wait,
hold on,
let me
but
finish. You asked me a question, let me finish.
He's not.
He didn't do it.
He's not. We've already
I'm
ruled
but I'm
that
saying,
out.
after the fact, he can come through. You and nigga, the homies can come put pressure on him, right? And he come up in there and be like, yo, all right. It was me. I can prove it was me. I cut her neck from this way to this way, or I shot him this right here, and I stole this unique watch from him that his daddy gave him that they was looking for. I got it right here.
Right. Here's the murder.
Do you know how hard it is to reverse those charges and get me out of prison and get them in? You know how many motherfuckers right now are on death row for some shit that they know that they didn't do? Shout out to my cousin. Where they have the evidence, but because bureaucracy, they're still gonna. There's been a couple years and they're waiting to go to trial to go through the inevitable. Like, yeah, come on, bro. No, nigga, you don't get to have me in jail for some shit you did, nigga, and not tell the people that you did it and expect any loyalty from me unless you went and popped somebody for me.
So I'm like, like I said, it'd be first 48. You was the first one they brought in or whatever, blase, and you gonna be that nigga that when they come back from commercial, you gonna have your cigarette, your soda, and a donut, nigga.
More just like
Chilling.
a cigarette and a donut.
Just chilling.
Oh, my nigga, feet up.
Coffee,
I might have my shoes
coffee,
off.
donut, and a cigarette, nigga.
Hold on, hey,
chilling.
Can I use your phone real quick? Look, nigga, I'm talking big shit. Because look, first off, nigga, I ain't kill nobody, right?
Right.
Secondly, do I know anybody that lives in the area, hangs out in the area that looks like me? Yeah, I do. I know a couple niggas that look like me.
No,
Now,
I'm just saying, like,
can
you
have a
witnessed the
conversation.
murder or whatever.
You can have a conversation without really snitching and telling us about it. You can, and that's what I always tell people, like, bro, you can be a non-titled. Nigga, you can be like, oh, no, I didn't do nothing. Like, well, I was here. I have an alibi. This is what I was doing. I don't know about anybody that looks like me. I don't know. Do you know anybody that looks like you, officer? I don't really walk around saying, hey, that guy looks like me. But, I mean, there's black people here, and a lot of us got dreads.
Like
a lot of us got dreads, but I don't know just because you black and you got dreads that you necessarily look alike.
Right.
So, nigga, there's a way I could talk without saying, like, yeah, that nigga Justin, he lived right around the corner. It probably was him.
But it's like one of them first 48 situations where it's like, if you don't tell on such as if we like blah blah blah, you like we don't, you know what I'm saying, you know.
Well, this is the thing, officer. I can't tell you something on someone that I don't
I'm saying
know.
you were there. We're saying you witnessed it. That's how.
Oh,
you know
in the
who
scenario,
did it.
I
Yes.
witnessed it.
That's how
Well,
you
hold
know
on.
who did it.
Oh, fam.
That's what I'm saying. That's like that's why like they could put you at the
See,
scene.
Now, hold on. Now, this is where it goes deep. Now, let me get real quick, and I'll be quick on this one.
Right.
Nigga, if that's my man's.
Nah, he's not. You just.
I know that, but if that's my man's, shit changes, right?
Right.
Because if that's my man's, and I know you went off the ripper, and nigga had to pop a nigga,
Right.
but they accidentally got me, and they were hell bent that it was me, and I know the ballistics ain't gonna be mine, nigga. I know that I ain't never touched a gun or the bullets.
You're gonna be
I know
good.
that I actually got something to stand on in terms of character
Right.
witnesses. Woo, and you my man, so you putting money on. You gotta help me get the lawyer and all that type
Right.
of shit. And basically, by me going through this. Is basically, nigga, like ridding you of like going through where you gonna be in prison for the rest of your life. If you my man's man,
We're not saying that.
I'm just throwing it out there.
It's not. No,
That's
not
different.
the situation.
I'll address
I'm
that.
talking about.
But
That's
if you a
your
nigga I
mans.
know,
yeah,
and I was seeing you kill this nigga,
yeah,
and I know we kind of resemble
and
each other.
they could pin you at the place
Hey, nigga, check
too.
this out though. Fuck you, nigga. Fuck you. You motherfucker.
Like you could be
Hey,
put at the area,
bro,
like cell
not
phone
even-
ping and all the shit. Like you.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'll show you my birth certificate, nigga. Nobody's gonna say, oh, nigga, where I was born at, nigga, breeds some of the most infamous gangsters in the world.
Right.
Oh fuck, nigga. I ain't trying to be. I don't give a fuck about none of them niggas. Suck my dick, nigga. Yeah, like nigga, if you want me to go to jail for any man, nigga, suck my dick, nigga. It's very slim circumstances. And the thing is, bro, like that's the thing about some gangster niggas. Like, what you gonna do about it?
Right.
I pop your ass too, nigga. Like we could be shooting each other. Yeah. And then when they be like, yo, why'd you kill this nigga? Be like, cuz, nigga, y'all had me testify on this motherfucker and he tried to kill me.
Yep.
Either way it go, I'm not going to jail, my
Right,
nigga. That's
yeah,
my
it's
whole
not-
thing. Like, you know, I've been to jail. That shit sucks.
She said, I'm going to have my cigarette, my coffee, and my
I'm not
donut.
going to have a cigarette. I'm going to have a coffee and a donut with my feet up.
Chilling.
Mad as a mother. Man, I've tried to smoke a cigarette one time in jail. You know I don't smoke cigarettes, bro.
Right.
Nigga, I was high for like 2 days. What the fuck is this?
I probably would be now, too, if I tried to smoke a cigarette again.
So I was high for like 2 days. What is this, nigga? Oh, shit, nigga. Like, that shit knocked off 2 days
Nah,
on my
but
little
that's
3 day
just wild
sentence, nigga.
funny. He said, if it's, I just know this nigga.
I just know. I just happen to. Because, nigga, you don't get to. You go to school with hella niggas and know them.
Right.
I don't give a fuck about this nigga. Like, I know him. We go to school, but I don't fuck about you. Like, we don't fuck with each other. And, like, you know, to suck if you died or something horrible happened to your children.
But in this situation, him or
fam.
me, it's him.
Fam, you know when they be like, you should have just know, like, because this is how I look at it. I'm not a sucker, fam. I was raised by lions, and they told me not to follow no man.
Right.
So that's me from day one. Since I was a shorty, whether the projects or the suburbs, nigga, I always kind of been me, hung out with who the fuck I want to hang out with, dress how I want to dress, talk how I want to talk, kick it how I want to kick it. So with that being said, you want me to give that up for what? Like, I got to live by your little mediocre
And I don't even know you, nigga.
Street laws,
like, I
nigga.
don't even know you.
You did some off the wall shit because you're scared to probably take an ass whooping or something, or got too emotional and pop somebody, right? And now you want me to save you with my life? Why? Because I'm black with
He
dreads,
said,
nigga?
absolutely not,
Get the
nigga.
fuck. I feel bad for any young black dude that feels like
He
they
has
ain't
to
never
do
bust
that.
a gun, they never pledged to a gang, they never lived that life, but feel like they gotta go to jail because they don't want to violate the street
You heard
code.
about that rapper?
You
Hey,
stupid,
did you
stupid
hold on.
motherfucker? You should honor your mother and father.
Did you hear about that rapper though? When he was 13, did honor his mother, and he had to go testify and tell him he saw somebody get murdered because his mom
No, he seen his
told
best
him
friend
to.
get murdered.
Yeah, his best friend.
He was a
Yeah,
minor.
you saw that gangster dude, that
Yeah.
nigga who was really killed niggas. It was like, nigga, you can't. That nigga was a baby. You gonna tell me you gonna tell your mama no?
You're not.
Look at that situation.
Bro,
And
you're
now
not
that
even,
he's a rapper, they're all calling him a snitch
and
and
so
all
this
that
the thing.
shit.
First
And
off,
they're like,
and
so
Lil
what?
Uzi took his verse back from him.
Right, so it's like, hold on.
I heard, allegedly.
He did. Which one of you niggas is gonna tell your mama no?
First off,
Over the
which
street
one
code.
of you niggas is gonna go to jail for 30 years, nigga, for anybody? Which one of you niggas gonna get shot
At
for one of your
13.
homeboys because it sound good when you
At
rap about it?
13.
Like, man, shut the fuck up. Like, at the end of the day,
And
this
they
is not the
tried to
80s no
just
more.
fuck him
so, like,
off
I'm not
in the
saying that
game,
there's
dog.
not 13-year-old boys out there in the mix. 'Cause I
And
know
you know
there,
what?
there, I know
They
there is.
did fuck
Hold
him
on.
off in the game,
But
too.
in
It's
the
fucked
80s,
up.
in the 80s,
Yeah.
that was a different time in the crack era where you had 13, 14-year-old boys, shout out to my big cousins, nigga, seeing hundreds of thousands of dollars, nigga, and catching bodies.
Right. We're
I'm not
talking
saying
nowadays.
the world is better, but it's a little different out there in those streets now. Like, I'm not saying niggas ain't doing wild shit and killing and doing all that other stuff. I'm not saying there's no 13-year-olds out there that's about that life. I know it is.
Right.
However, dog, like majority of the
However.
kids that turn to the streets and shit and really get active, you talking about at least 15, 16, 17-year-old
Yeah,
boys.
they're a little bit
are
older.
a little older. Like, a lot of dudes that's out there in the streets come from good families.
At 13.
And at 13 years
and here's
old,
the
they
thing.
still had dreams of the world. Like, maybe
At
you know.
13, 99.8% of you niggas ain't telling your mom or dad no if they tell you to do exactly what he did.
Nigga, at 19.
So how dare you?
At 19, a lot of if you still living on
how-
your parents' dime,
Right.
A lot of you motherfuckers ain't doing that shit.
So how dare you fuck this kid's career off after he's got a single that's blowing up, and
Hey,
you bring up something when this nigga was 13 years
but
old
I'm
that
not
his
gonna give
mom
him that,
made
though.
him do.
This is where I stop feeling bad for him. Nigga, if that information came out and that's enough to like erode your career, what was your career based on? What was you rapping about?
Nah, he wasn't rapping about that. He just like him losing that.
I'm just saying,
that
I've never
Uzi
heard of
Vert
shit.
verse
Just
and all
that's that one
shit.
verse on the one song that popped.
That
But
Corvette. But when you listen to
what
him,
do
he
you be rapping
doesn't
about?
rap about that street shit.
Okay, well, these young kids are infatuated with the streets.
You know what I'm saying?
And
At least I don't think so. I'll have
and
to listen to that shit and
suburban
get back to you.
kids drive the market now because it's not street teams no more. It's not the DJs and the hood clubs. It's the internet. It's the chat rooms.
Yeah.
And
Well, nah,
they-
DJs still
hold
break
on,
your shit.
Hold on, and they don't, and differently, and they don't live. You email DJs more than you walk up to them or go to the club.
No,
that they
yeah,
spend,
that's
is what I'm-
real.
is what
That's
I'm
real.
getting to,
Okay.
is what I'm getting to, right?
Yeah. Still,
So-
it's still
so you're right.
electronic.
Yeah, you're
still
right. It's
electronic.
electronic. But you don't have like these kids like that are from that, and they have so much say. They can break a record. They can say that they can make this. That's why 6ix9ine is able to still get money, nigga, and do the numbers and stuff. Because at the end of the day, most of the kids that actually listen to his music, buy it, stream it, and buy his merch, don't give a fuck about no street code that some niggas made up, and
They don't even live by that street code at all.
And if you do anything to them against the law, they're telling on you.
Yeah, the parents is probably cops and lawyers and doctors and
Even if they're not,
hella money and all
Hold
types
on, bro.
of shit.
Even if they're not, and they have cool parents that don't really fuck with the cops because they think that, like us, the cops are a piece of shit.
They'll still tell.
Break their fucking window, bro.
They're
Steal
they're
their
snitching.
rims.
They're snitching.
Assault them, nigga. It's not snitching. The fuck you mean? I live in a $250,000 house.
I mean, not snitching.
Hold on,
They're
I live
going
in
to
a
call the police.
$250,000 house.
Right.
Nigga, I went to college. I pay taxes. I pay student loans. Nigga, I vote. The fuck you talking about? That's what Pharrell was talking about when he was like snitching. So nigga, I just paid millions of dollars in taxes. You goddamn right the cops is gonna work for me. Like part of leaving the hood is not being a victim of living in the hood to where you can walk and get shot with a straight bullet, or some crazy motherfucker can decide that they like what you worked hard for and kill
come
you
take
for
your
it.
shit, right?
Or force you to have to kill them for it.
Mm-hmm.
And now you got to deal with this shit.
Right.
Because the system don't give a fuck about you either. So if you're a young black millionaire that catch a body in self-defense, they still trying to crucify your ass and take everything you got. Nah, it's easier to just let you dumb, wannabe rich niggas that's poor-minded call me a snitch while I collect these $1 million checks, nigga. Yeah, we got that handled. This motherfucker tried to rob me. Now he's in prison.
Right.
I'm sorry. I could have killed him.
Yeah.
My niggas around me that got all the guns and shit could have shot him. I got armed security. They could have shot him. But then what?
Mm-hmm. I got to deal with all this extra shit.
They're not going to let me get the George Zimmerman pass where I go home the same night and then that's just that. And
right.
And then you find out that the DA conspired with my lawyers to make sure that I didn't go to jail. Right? So that's just what we got to think about. But I can't give these young black men a pass for this shit. You're getting manipulated by white kids in the chat from the suburbs.
Right.
That's what by little Indonesian and Asian kids from the chats. They're, oh, you're a bitch. You're not about that life. And now you getting gassed up like, nigga, you back on the phone. Nigga, who ain't about that life? Y'all niggas got me fucked up. Like, dog, these niggas ain't outside no more. Son, like, when I was walking through the projects as a kid, if it was a bully over there, that I ain't want to see, I might have to go the other way.
Right. Or if
like,
you said something, you was more than likely to have to see this
when
nigga
we was
one
growing
day.
up,
You
if you walking home from school, nigga, you was talking spicy in the lunchroom.
You
gonna,
was around. Yeah, you gonna see that nigga after school.
Be like, nigga,
what's up?
I know you live over there. I'm walking this way to go to school. I go home, and
what's
now
up,
when
nigga?
I see that nigga, we gotta fight. So because these kids don't have that type of interaction no more,
right?
A lot of the conflict is yelling at a phone. Is typing crazy, nigga. You don't know me showing pictures of guns. Nigga,
fucking internet tough
right?
guys, man.
Everybody got that.
Yeah.
But then, like, come on, like, so now you can do that and not have to deal with it. That goes back to the Meek thing. Like, Meek is pushing these niggas like on some street shit.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting at you like, bro, like, I'm gonna make you look dumb on the internet, nigga, and keep clowning you, nigga.
And that's
that's
the fuck. Okay, so I see what you're saying earlier about me. He doesn't realize that the internet is undefeated.
No, real street kids don't understand trolling.
Right. You cannot defeat a troll.
They don't understand
because they're built for any comeback.
The fuck you mean?
They're built for any
6ix9ine
situation.
came back and put a mouse head on his head in a video with bad bitches twerking on him, nigga. Like, nigga, fuck it. Y'all niggas gonna call me a rat, nigga. I'm from the streets. I know what it is. Like, I'm never coming back from this, so I'm gonna embrace it. Like, you know what kind of piece of shit you got to be to do that?
That's real shit. Yeah,
Like,
nah, I feel
fam,
that
I'm
for real.
originally
That's
from
real.
Brooklyn.
That's real
That's
as
some
fuck.
real low life
That's
Brooklyn.
some real piece of
I'm
shit
a piece
shit.
of shit type shit like
That's a
nigga.
straight
Like, I don't give a
dirty
fuck,
shit.
nigga. Right?
Right.
And you know, there's nuance to that too. So this ain't even about Duke. But hey, like some people, dog. Donald Trump has a lot of these qualities.
Yeah, he does.
That's why you think Donald Trump gives a fuck about Nancy Pelosi and certain dignified people allegedly like getting on there and using eloquent words to describe how unprofessional and
No,
unethical.
because he's a fucking
Nigga,
troll.
He has been that. He's been that since he was a little boy. Like you ain't
I'll
telling
be
me
that.
nothing that
I'll
my
be
parents
that.
and my grandparents ain't already known about me, and they still sponsor my multi-million-dollar lifestyle. However, I stole my dead brother's children's inheritance. You think I give a fuck about what Congress says about me on a station that I don't even watch and the people that like me don't watch? Mm-hmm. It's not like the motherfuckers on Fox News get a breaking alert when MSNBC breaks down something, nigga, that Donald Trump did unethical. They don't see that shit.
No, not at all.
They don't give a fuck.
Ain't no ticker over there about that shit.
I said this shit a long time ago. I was like, America's suffering from gang culture. Like the Bloods and Crips and the Vice Lords and GDs and all this street gang shit and the Latin Kings and MS-13, the shit then got so, it just seeped into everything. Police departments, gang culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see different EMTs and shit like that. Go look at a crime scene and watch how much traffic and how much competition is there. The media, gang culture, nigga.
That's real.
Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, gang culture. You see the sports and colleges and all that shit, gang culture. See niggas rioting after big games and shit like that. Gang culture, right? Like, it's just everything in
It's
this
gang
country that we
culture.
do. Democrats or Republicans. That's the biggest. Those
are the biggest gangs out there. Gang.
You get
nigga.
motherfuckers that Ted Cruz had to bang on Donald Trump for disrespecting and calling his wife ugly. Leave my wife Heidi out of this. 2 weeks later, nigga, I'm with Donald Trump.
Hey, that
Fuck
nigga.
the Democrats.
Hey, did you
Gang
see that
culture.
nigga Ted Cruz try
It's
to
crazy.
be a comedian?
Yeah, but that's what happened when
that was
bozos.
the funniest shit, dog.
Look, and the thing that Donald Trump is poisonous for the Republican Party, and smart, sound Republicans know this, and that's why they upset with him. He got a nigga like Ted Cruz feeling like he has that charm and charisma.
Yeah, that's real. That's so
and he
real
don't,
now.
and now you playing out of your hand.
That's
Go be the
so
smart
real.
nerdy guy that everybody thinks is smarter than everyone else.
Oh, fat Ferris
You get away with
Bueller
that.
looking
You get away with
nigga.
that, but you don't get away with trying to make a joke. You come off culturally insensitive. You come off like
Bad.
dumb.
That shit look terrible.
It was awkward. Even your
Oh
own
my
base
God.
was awkward. Like, man, come on, Ted. That
That
ain't your
shit
move.
looks so terrible. And then when the people had to come in later, like, hey, y'all need to put y'all masks on.
They
like,
start booing.
Yeah, like, y'all niggas is wild and dog.
And you make a bed and you got to lay in it, fam. Like, that's what y'all did. Y'all took people and you politicized wearing masks to the point where, like, the most funded nation in the world with allegedly the most intellect and talent
just
is
so against it.
We're just flaufling over here.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the very fucking city that the damn virus derived out of, they chilling. They over there,
Chilling.
nigga, not a fucking COVID in sight. They done moved on in life. But that's the thing about capitalism. That's the thing about polarizing politics. Is it can get so thick that you motherfuckers will be arguing which way is up and which way is down.
Mm-hmm.
The Democrats say up is up, and the Republicans say down is up. It'll be an argument 100 years.
Hey,
Like,
did you know
it
with
is what
this
it is.
new like vaccine and shit, there's like a clause
Johnson
in
and
it.
Johnson?
Not even that, the one that's actually like being administered.
There's two of them.
The one that has
Those two?
2 doses. The Monero or whatever. Damn, I just lost my train of thought.
You said there was a clause in it?
Oh yeah, that you can't sue them if it fucks you up.
Like most of them.
I don't want none of that. Like, why the fuck? Cause like, why would I? Y'all don't even know what the side effects are really of this shit yet.
Especially down the road. Down the road. That's the main thing. It's like,
But you
Oh,
expect
man.
motherfuckers to get this vaccine and not be able to sue if it fucking makes
well,
something happen.
let me say
to 'em.
this. Hey, man, if you're at high risk, if you're going to be working in a place where you have to deal with a lot of people, if you're comfortable with it, get vaccinated. If you're a person that is on the fence, you know, that needs to be respected as well. And like we're speaking off camera, man, the last Tuskegee experiment cycle was like in the 70s.
Yeah, shit wasn't that long ago.
And so I think a lot of people have to understand. And one thing I do respect about the Biden administration is they've kind of shifted towards that narrative of understanding that there's people in the black community that do not trust any
Vaccine at all.
and they have all the
I'm not
evidence and
vaccinated.
reason in the world
To not trust it.
to not trust this government and its willingness to do anything to help sustain their life. If you're an African American in America, why would you feel like that? If you really are like depth in your history and the history of our government, just in the recent 60 some odd years, after the historic win in Georgia, the GOP introduced nearly 100 bills that all restrict black voting rights in Georgia. So just because white mainstream media doesn't talk about it at length, that don't mean black people don't understand that.
Yeah,
that
we
don't mean that as
understand
soon
all
as
that
black
shit.
people find that out, all of us don't know it and it don't spread like wildfire. You know, so it's just something to think about, man. Like, I'm on the fence with it. Man. Because every time I think, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go. You know, I'm just like, don't. I don't give a fuck what celebrity, what noble black person you put in front of me and say and show them get a shot. I don't trust that they even getting the same shot I'm getting. LeBron don't play in the same sneakers that I play in. If I go buy some LeBrons, those is replicas of the sneakers he wearing.
Right.
His feel completely different. They custom to his feet.
Yep.
LeBron might have a high arc. I might be flat-footed.
Right. That
They
shit
make the
don't
same
fit
shoes,
my
nigga.
shoe, my foot, right?
I'm not dumb. I get it. I know replica. And it's just like, fam, I ain't gonna lie, man.
But a difference
I
between
kind of
player
just gotta
edition
see a
and
little bit
replica.
more. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
just gotta see a bit more. Cause I don't want to take the shit and then right after I take it, we find motherfuckers, nigga, dicks is falling off and shit, nigga. Like
Niggas'
just
dicks
losing
don't
their
get
whole
hard
dick.
no more.
Yeah, man. You got vaccinated, you'll never get a stiff one, ever. I might take my chance with the vid.
Dog, I'm not getting vaccinated. It
All
doesn't. I don't give a
I might
fuck.
take my
Because
chance
here
with
they
the
say
vid, boy.
for a vaccination to be successful, 80% of the
Rest in peace to
population
anybody
has
that we lost.
80% of the population has to get it. So okay, that means I can be part of that 20% that doesn't.
What if the cold thing is, nigga, all the wealthy people, nigga, was acting
Don't
like they
get
got
it?
it hella quick,
Yeah.
but they really was the motherfuckers that wasn't getting it, and we was the test tube babies, nigga, the little experiment, the guinea pigs, nigga, whatever. Was like, let them get it. Okay, y'all got the 80%, everybody okay, and then they just make sure that we ain't drop off.
Yeah, I'm straight. I
Hey,
don't
you
need
know
no
what's
part.
crazy, bro? This the nerd in me. This the comic book nerd in me.
Right.
This some Black Lightning shit. This some real. Remember, it was a vaccine that they
It
gave
was.
to people, and motherfuckers start flying and shit, nigga, and getting X-Men powers.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess I'll be one of the niggas who don't have X-Men powers.
Just a normal nigga. Everybody just walking around dunking from the free throw line and shit, nigga. All because we ain't get the vid shot.
That's alright.
Like, damn, bro, I could have manipulated that shit for millions.
Oh shit! What else we got? There's that other one.
Man, pretty much that's it. Unless you want to wrap it up with a little bit of entertainment gossip. Lastly, since we was already on that hype,
I love entertainment gossip, man. What's good?
T.I., Tiny, and Nelly.
And Nelly, huh?
They done brung EI into this shit. Now, let me say this.
Give me the background on it,
Hold
because
on,
I
before we go
gotta.
anywhere. We here at the ATS don't condone any mistreatment of anyone, man, woman, or child. We're law-abiding citizens over here. We'll do our best not to tell on you.
Most of the
We'll
part.
We'll do our best not to tell
law-abiding.
on you and ourselves.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So that being said, we just gonna get into this and unpack it, man, for what we know before we get up out of here. From what I know, from what I've been hearing, lightly listening into it, there was a series of young women that have came out and accused T.I. and his wife Tiny of some very bad things.
Very malicious sexual acts.
Sexual, everything ranging from, I believe, sexual assault, forced intercourse, kidnapping, terrorist-like threats is what they're saying, because that's another form of kidnapping, where you basically restrict them and all that stuff. And then some women were saying that they were forced to take drugs, forced to have threesomes, etc. Recently, a girl comes out and says that she was at an event, party, whatever, and T.I. forced her to take a handful of pills or drugs, and then made her go in the room and have sex with Nelly. Now, I'm gonna say this, fam. Now that we've got that out there, these are some of this was out there. Allegedly, Tiny is, by allegations, just as guilty. She does all the same thing. She's in on it. Allegedly, all people are proven until, are innocent until proven guilty. This shit is wild. All right. I don't know which way I'm leaning. I haven't delved in and looked at any details or anything like that, or I don't know. I haven't really studied this. Just been following it loosely. It's nasty.
My thing
It
is,
sounds a little nasty, dog.
my thing is with this, like, we're
It sounds
talking,
nasty.
we're talking T.I. and Nelly, right? Both got bread. Both essentially could fuck anybody they wanted. I mean, T.I. really can't because he's married. He's got to keep that public image up. So I'm just
Some
like,
niggas.
why? I mean, I'm not saying that it couldn't happen, but it's still all alleged. So I'm going with the alleged side. Why the fuck, if I'm in either one of those positions, do I have to do any crazy shit like that? Like, I should be able to just go to the club with Tiny and bag a bitch. I'm T.I. Like, I'm Tip. And the other thing is like Nelly.
Well,
I can
I'm
go
glad you
to
said
any
that.
club and bag a
That's
bitch.
part
I'm
of
Nelly.
that's part of what the allegations stem from. They say that this comes from a culture of T.I. and Tiny going out partying, taking women home, like a lot of men do with their woman, right?
Right.
And a lot of women do.
A lot
with
of
they
famous
man.
motherfuckers
Adults,
do shit like this.
right? Consensual only, right? But they said that allegedly there's times that Tiny might be out and see a little something and approach him like, yo, you trying to go back with, da, da, da. Now,
So what's wrong with that?
I'm not saying nothing's wrong with that. I'm not saying nothing's wrong with that. However, let me take it from this point, right? This is where it gets tricky.
It's tricky.
Right. You know how this strip club culture is, B.
Right.
I'm Tiny, I'm T.I., whoever. We balling in that bitch. Right? And, Magic Show. I've actually been in a strip club with this nigga Nelly before because, shout out my modeling career. I actually modeled for him at one point in time. You know what I'm saying? But that being said, I've seen how these niggas do it. But these niggas got real professional money coming in. They popping bands of money that ain't been touched. Right? It's big money that they spend. So they in the club balling.
Right.
The chicks is around. You know how the strippers do this. What they do? They getting their money. Right? Okay, after hour, we going back. Who going back to the spot? But man, you round them up. Boom.
Sounds like some normal.
It goes down, right?
Shit.
It goes down. Drugs is passed out. The ambiance is set. Some things start happening, right? I'm not talking about anything forceful.
But to say, like,
let me
okay.
I'm not talking about anything forceful physically.
Just it's going down.
Right.
Like, we're
But
all
the
on drugs and
ambiance
it's
is
going
set
down.
now.
Right.
There's handfuls of drugs.
Right.
And everybody's partying and da 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 da.
Right.
And then somebody does some things, right?
Right.
That maybe she wasn't willing to originally, or maybe didn't feel all the way good with.
But drugs do lower your inhibitions.
Drugs and ambiance
lower your inhibitions.
does matter, right? If you're talking about a minor. So now say she's 17, she got a fat ass because she's from Georgia, and her girls and the shit is 18, 19, 20, and they make big money at the strip club, and they flirt with the strip club boss dude, so nigga, she get to come in there and dance. We know about this culture. We live in Vegas,
we
nigga.
all know about that shit.
So now she's really in the strip club,
Right.
doing her thing,
Right.
looking right, looking to the part, but really she didn't got round up, nigga, in the Sprinter van, nigga, and she at the mansion, and you done passed out a little envelope, nigga, like, here, go, man, go $2,500 for everybody for coming and kick it. We gonna kick it tonight. Now, you didn't say that $2,500 in that envelope and this champagne and this everything else was for the sole purpose of you performing these deeds. But now as a 17-year-old that really ain't got no business being in there,
Right.
you thought you was grown,
Right.
but now you swimming with the big boys.
Right.
And you don't even know how to tell Nelly no. Like, that's Nelly or that's T.I.
Did
like,
they? Okay, but did they
allegedly.
know? Did they?
And I'm not justifying
But
none of
did
this
they?
shit.
But did they know she was underage?
That's my point. I'm saying, like, I don't. That's a question to be
If
asked.
I pick you up
Hold on,
from the
wait,
strip
hold on. That's
club,
a question
I'm
to
gonna
be-
assume.
That's what I'm saying. Hold on,
Right.
But you would be wrong to.
Right, but I'm just saying,
I
most
get
of
it.
them are gonna assume.
I get it, but nigga, that's where nigga you be wrong to.
But nobody told you to go to the after party. Nobody then
Listen
at
to
the
what I'm
after
saying, fam.
party told you to
No,
indulge
you
in
get,
any
you don't
of that.
unpack it so quick. That's what I'm saying. Like my point is that like this is how these ambiances get set up, right? To where you might not Ti, you and Tiny, y'all might not have set out to be on some pedophilia, predatorial shit. Y'all might have just been a little bit more. You might have been. It's predatorial, but it's consensual predatory. It's
Right.
It's adult predator prey.
Everybody
situation.
from this club
Everybody
know why they's
grown,
coming back to the house.
Everybody grown. This is an adult environment. We're
Right.
about to go back and finish up with some adult activity, right?
But we don't know if they know if she's underage.
But there's often minors thrown into that loop. Now,
But hold on, a
Is
minor
the
could be
minor-
under 21 too, though. If
It
it's a
depends.
17-year-old, do we know that for a
no,
fact?
a minor is a minor, fam. A minor is a minor.
No, because if you're
You
no,
can have
because if you're
I'm
19,
not talking about consent to sex.
no, I'm not saying consent. Like, say, I'm just talking law-wise. Say you're 19, you consume alcohol. You're still a minor in possession or consumption of alcohol.
So that's what I'm saying. A minor.
Okay.
Shit, 17,
Anything under 21.
18. I would say anything really under 18, but like it's iffy.
No, I'm just saying gray area. There's the gray area.
Gray area. That's what I'm saying. So like under 21,
Okay.
18. So that's most.
But because
because
minor to me means under 18.
That's a lot of strippers,
Anything
though.
that's gonna
That's what I was playing. It just under
Right.
18. Like nigga, you're not an adult. You're not legally allowed to be in the area that you work in. None of this shit is legal around you. So anybody that's doing this shit around you is soliciting or contributing to the delinquency of a minor.
for
Your
sure.
ass is going to jail. You in trouble, right?
Right.
So that's the point. So like now, you done did this.
Well, she kind of
Over-
wrong for even being
Hold
there.
on. Well, that's not the point yet.
Yet. Okay.
Because we can get to how she got there. Now we from the city. That we in the
we
Sin
know how
City.
that works.
We talking to our sin folk out there. She could have been pimped and pandered into this situation.
That's real.
Which
That's
means the bitch is
absolutely
really
real.
from Arkansas, excuse my language, and now she's over here.
She has to go to
in
this after
Atlanta,
party.
and now she's like, oh nigga, no, then you going to that party, you
Yeah.
gonna get this bread.
Yeah, she
and now
has
you
to go.
and you stuck, and you really looking for like a T.I. and a Tiny Yo heroes to save you,
And they're not about
but they
none
not
of
even
that.
thinking like that. They not in their superhero state. In the other stage, they probably would look out for a young chick like you. They don't see you as a young chick because you disguise as a grown up.
And you ain't said
That's
nothing.
ready to play. And you fearful, you ain't say nothing, you loaded, you just don't know no better. You're already programmed to not say nothing.
Right.
You don't know, nigga, if your pimp, nigga, no T.I. and them, and that's how you got there's a lot of shit that goes into there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it could be a thing of where I called an escort service, right? And they sent me 7 bitches. Excuse my language. And 3 of them came, nigga, and they was
And
on
they
the
know
cusp.
they're underage because
And
they
they know
got
it.
them in there for that.
Because they pimps and plundering and they doing
Right.
that shit. But you Nelly and T.I. and Tiny and it's big money.
Right.
So now, and we live in a world where this is legal. This is okay in certain elements. Like, there's legal escort services, bro. Like where you can call to have women come and entertain parties and do all
Right.
these things.
Right.
So like you doing that, whatever. Boom. They come to the room. They come to the
And
mansion.
somebody ends
they
up
come
being
to the
underage.
Airbnb. Now you do this over the course of 10, 15 years of being a superstar, celebrity, couple, and icon, and multimillionaire. And mind you, it's like the R. Kelly situation where by nature of your job and your career, if you're doing these type of acts, you're going to be doing this shit all over the place. It's not
Right.
just in one city. Like
Right.
you got a house out here, you got a house over there, you got a place here. You're on tour in this country, you toured this way. So it's that type of situation. So now you got these girls,
And it,
now,
it turns into a very slippery slope
It's a
because
slippery
if
slope.
fucking 30 or 40 of them
Because
come out
think
over
about it,
15
dog.
years,
Come on.
that's
now you
life
talking
in
about,
prison.
Now you're talking about who? Bill Cosby.
R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein. You're getting to a lot of
See,
Harvey
now, I would
Weinstein
stop-
really did it. I
would
shouldn't have
stop
put
at
Harvey
Bill
Weinstein.
Cosby on this
Bill
one because
Cosby because we don't.
They're
It's
all
so,
like from
it's
a
all,
long time
right,
ago.
Right,
There's drugs
right.
involved. It's just real hazy.
And we're talking about the 70s when everybody's on some fucking drugs.
It's real hazy.
The fuck?
And you know the pills that these
I
niggas
want
is
you to
taking
show
now.
me. I want you to show
it's
me
like
any
taking a lewd, right?
any celebrity in the 60s, 70s,
Come on,
and
fam.
80s
They
that
was-
wasn't on no fucking drugs.
Now that don't condone any mistreatment
No,
of young
it
women
doesn't.
and things like
It
that, or
doesn't.
rape or anything like that.
But-
But that being said, though, you see how this shit correlates.
Right. It's a
You see
slippery
how like
fucking
because
slope.
we were all in our parents, bodies still.
Right.
When Bill Cosby was doing these alleged things.
Right, yeah.
So now when you bring it up, we look at the old guy that got the Jello commercial that always talks about being righteous, and it's like you shit on him, like, wow, you little old pervert, you was raping bitches the whole time, you was doing this, doing that.
No,
but then when you
young Bill Cosby was
hold on, listen to
doing
me.
what everybody
But
else
then
was
when
doing
you
and
go
partying.
back and put it in perspective, right?
Right.
Because not even like jumping on the Bill Cosby shit.
Because we had a whole
Right. We're not
blowout
even going on
fallout
that.
over that.
Not even jumping on the Bill Cosby shit. But like I said, then, fam, Hugh Hefner was never brought into question. And it's not what about him? It's some of these alleged rapes happened at Hugh Hefner's house with girls that were underage.
Right.
How in the you telling me that at least 3 different women on different occasions could say that you raped them in my home and they were drunk and on drugs and they were underage and nobody wants to talk to me?
Yeah, that's real. Yeah, nobody.
Like, yo, what
have
the
no
fuck was you
clue.
doing with all these young girls getting raped at your house by your friends? Nigga,
Why
like,
do
what
you
was
have
doing?
these crazy ass parties where it's all is a bunch of
It's just something to
underage
think
women?
about, fam. And like that's why they wait to come
Right.
and get certain people.
Yeah.
Because when they do it in all of your luster and your glory, when people know you and
You
still,
probably
you're
gonna
still
get off.
attractive and good looking,
You'll probably get off.
you OJ they ass.
Yeah, you'll get off.
You
But
OJ
if they
that.
do it
Now,
and they
I'm
built
not
a
saying
case,
OJ is innocent or guilty. I'm just saying, but you fuck around and get out. You still have some of that dapper charm that where some people are like, that's OJ.
yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of celebrities that probably can get away with a lot of shit if you do it
The right way.
at the certain time.
right.
But when you start getting to a point where nobody remembers your highlights, nigga,
Yeah,
who the fuck is
you're
you?
easy target.
This old ass dude.
You're
man. What you
easy
talking
fucking
about? Like,
target. And
nobody
now
wants
you
to
just
sit
look like the old pervert, like you said,
and then your
pedophile,
memory
rapist
goes
ass
off.
nigga.
And now your memory runs wild. You be like, well, shit. He was young in Hollywood with hella bitches. They
Right.
was all doing drugs in the 70s.
Right.
Yeah, he was doping bitches. Like, it goes with it. It sounds right. Like, okay.
And let's
well,
keep it. And I want to keep it a whole buck. We don't know how many motherfuckers was putting any type of anything in drinks back in the 70s.
Well, I do know this. In the case particular that he went to jail for,
Mm-hmm.
there was no drugs like Quaaludes. The drug in question was Benadryl.
Oh wow.
So it's just something to think about. Go read those papers. Like, he's allegedly in jail for putting
Benadryl.
he didn't put Benadryl in her drink. She never said that. He gave her Benadryl, but allegedly, she said that she had a headache and had some allergies. Like, so he gave her It gets tricky. It gets tricky.
Well, when it comes to black people, it always gets real tricky.
And just when they don't like you, like when you become a public figure in America and you become successful and you're wealthy, you gotta remember these government agent officials, although they have good livings and power, a lot of them aren't wealthy.
They're not making no
They're
money
not
like
wealthy.
Bill Cosby.
So
nigga.
when they see a young motherfucking kid or some young punk white boy that's an actor and he's making $30 million a film and he's doing this and he's driving a car that they want to retire and get and he's living where they always want to
Driving cars,
and he's banging the
that
chick
they
that's
wanna
on their gym
retire.
wall and shit like that. Like, they don't like you. Even if
Nah.
I don't give a fuck if you black, white, yellow. Like, they don't like you. Like, who the
They're
fuck?
jealous of you.
I can't wait to throw your ass in jail for something. I can't wait to show you that
Like
my
I'm
power.
supposed, because they
you know what I'm
they
saying?
think it's that entitlement empowerment shit. They think, oh, I'm supposed to protect and serve and protect your life and shit, and you drive a better car and live better than me.
Come on, fam.
How's
Where
that
that
make
work?
sense?
Where that work at? I don't subscribe to this shit. And people will decide that what they do for their living is more warranted than what you do. Like, you know how many times people have argued over my lifetime that, oh, this basketball players make too much money, and I'm like,
Why?
Why? There's only like 500 cats in the NBA. Like, think about what you do for a living, and imagine only 500 people in this
Being
whole
able
world
to do
being
that,
able to do it. How much do you think
having
you'll
the
command?
natural born talent.
How much do you
and-
think you'll
and-
command?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hey, I got an idea, and this is a funny thing because sis is a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
One of my best friends is a teacher. But if you're gonna be one of those teachers that complains all the time and don't really put your best effort because we're underappreciated, this and this, I'm only gonna get married. Hey, you can go to Cambodia and teach. You can go to a place
A third world country where it's voluntary.
and where the government will pay you, and they'll probably pay you big money, right? You can go to somewhere where they need
A teacher.
a teacher. We're
Because
like,
America
where you're
doesn't.
like a rock star.
America doesn't act like they need teachers
Right.
at all,
They treat teachers like they come a dime a dozen.
and they don't.
Because for what the American system is, good teachers don't.
Yeah.
Teachers do come a dime a dozen.
Yeah. Good teachers don't.
Shit, all you need is 60 credits in Nevada, and you can be a sub. And if you sub for a long enough time,
You can become a
you can
teacher.
get grandfathered into being a teacher.
Right.
But it's just one of those things, fam. Like, people just, we got to understand that.
Yeah.
Like my boy Cap said, man, like, they want you to go to school to do hair, but not be a police, not yield a gun and be an officer of the law.
That's real.
America just got some shit that we got to rethink. That's all.
America got
And
some
we were
explaining
we
to
were a
do.
great country at one point in time, and we're a great country now in a lot of many ways. We're a great country for the idea of the future. In the past, we have to evolve back to that.
Right.
Like, some shit don't gotta stay the same. You know what I mean?
Until we all get together and change it, it's gonna stay the same. But on that note, I feel like it's a great place to end our
Wrap
Monday
this thing
show.
up, man.
Don't forget to like, follow, and share the motherfucking ATS Always Talking Shit show.
Please do. We appreciate it.
Um,
Check us out on the YouTube. We will be making some announcements about movement soon. But right now, man, we just having fun on this platform. A lot of our friends and family get to see it. We were just tied up in a contract that
didn't go no fucking where.
relax, that allowed for
Son of a bitch.
relax, that literally allowed, like, it didn't allow for, like, you know, our everyday people to see what it was that we had been working on and doing. So, man, shout out to y'all, man. We appreciate the love and support.
But that's another
Everybody in the
episode
comment section.
of that
This
always.
is your boy,
Hold on, we ain't gonna do
Akeem
that yet.
Sincere.
I have to do this first.
I'm out.
And that's
Deuces.
another episode of Always Talking Shit
You
show.
always talking shit.
I'm your boy Doc On, and as usual, it's
Fuck how you feel, my guy.
fuck how all of you feel.